I'm from Southern Luzon State University, are we all here? We also have participants from Paranaque, California, and also State of Icatayan University, including Ateneo de San Juan University. So, talagang nationwide tayo. How about from University of State Quezon? Nandito na ba sila? Ayan. So we have 100 participants na. How about our delegates from Don Honorio Ventura State University? And we also have from Bataan Peninsula State University. Yes. And City College of Angeles. So, San Pedro College. Good morning. Ateneo de Davao. So have some participants from Davao, Mindanao, and Iris. Ayan. And also from the College of St. Daniel. So, good morning everyone. I'm excited na mga bagets natin. So, good morning. So, alright, so before we begin, I'd like to request our audience to participate in our Mentimeter activity. So, I'm hello, can you hear me? So, I'm sure you're all familiar with this activity. Also, I'll be sharing a slide. So, please bring out your phone so that you can see, so that you can scan the QR code. I'll be sharing this. Ayan. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, we can view them.
Yes. Okay. Ayan. So please type in your browsers www.menti.com and enter the code 35317389 or scan the QR code at this point. Okay, so let's see how many participants do we have. Ayan. Have you all scanned it? Ayan. We're waiting for the for our students to scan the QR code before we begin. So this will be just for a short activity para while waiting for other participants. Okay. So can we start? Okay. So our Menti code is again 35317389. Okay. The Mentimeter link is also kept in the chat box, so we can also access it. Okay. So we'll wait for the others. Alright. Okay. So we'll begin for our first question. Ayan. So how are you feeling today? Nako, good. Sleepy. So later, nako, tignan natin kung mag-isip pa tayo kasi for sure, you'll definitely gain a lot from this webinar. And of course, our esteemed speakers will also be sharing a lot of things. They're happy, they're great, excited, fabulous, fantastic, challenge, alive, okay? And daming magagandang positive words from this word. I'm so yes. I'm also nervous and anxious later in ano, yung nervous and anxious. And also meron din tayong grateful, pleasant, tired, fantastic, excited, yes, sad, no? Ayan. Alright. Okay. So, I hope. Yeah. So, next. Okay. So, are we all, marami pang, marami pang nag-type ng kanilang feeling. But generally, our audience feels happy, good, and sweet. So, I understand it's very important. So, let's move on to our next slide. And malalaman natin talagang patient by patient activity, right? Okay, so this, we'll move on to our next slide. You, okay, so which region are you from? Kasi nationwide kasi office, yan, marami tayong from Luzon. Mindanao, um, um, I forgot na, also from Visayas, we also have Philippine Coast Air participants from Luzon. Ating mga participants sa Luzon, okay, keep your responses coming kasi we have 266 delegates. Wow, we have 100 delegates, more than 100 from Luzon. Okay, alright. So, meron pang almost 130 na nakaka-respond. So, okay. So, talagang our participants are really, majority of our participants are from Luzon. Okay, so I think that's it for our initial activity. No? So I hope medyo nabuhayan tayo. Later on, makakapag tayo ng other interactivity at the same time. Some famous platform that we so later we'll have uh, this a game, quick game now to test it out a little bit kayo. Alright? So I'll stop here. Thank you so much for those who have responded. And so, alright. So, grabe talaga ang mga ng ating mga Gen Z. So, thank you so much everyone for participating. So, before we begin, we just have a few reminders. So, for our house rules, so kindly turn on your camera if possible so we can see your beautiful faces. And sharing of any links, marketing materials, or campaign ads in the chat box is strictly prohibited. So feel free to comment and type in your questions later during the Q&A. You may just type in the Q&A button in the dashboard, share it inside the chat box later. Okay. So participants check. There are almost nearly 300 participants, 283 participants as of the moment. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So welcome to the Career Launch Series from the Academic Industry Committee of the People Management Association. I am Dave from San Miguel Global Power, and I'll be your host for today's session. But before we begin this session, may we invite everyone to please rise for an invocation, followed by our national anthem.
Dear Almighty Father, we express our sincere gratitude for the gift of another day. We ask forgiveness for our sins, for which we lay our regrets and sorrows. Thank you for your overflowing and unending patience, kindness, and love that you shower us every day of our lives. Today, as we gather for this special event, we humbly seek your divine providence to help us share your grace to others. Help us engage in meaningful discussions by giving us wisdom, understanding, and guidance. Help us learn and grow and love one another so that we can become better children of yours. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Pledge my loyalty to thee, upholding respect and dignity. Promoting closer ties and harmony, to give us stand of unity. We believe in a law for a strong economy. We believe in the road in the street. Seek for guidance to our leader when problems come of management and men. Nowhere to keep the faith and trust as we have of our land. Nowhere to keep the faith and trust as we have of our
Okay, so at this point, may we invite our on our virtual stage Miss Anna Maria Penny Bordano, 2020
Morning, everyone. Can you hear me well? So, good
Morning.
morning. Good morning, Miss May, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, dear students. It's another wonderful morning, and we are very excited to have, let me see the number, 300 students here today. So, it's so exciting to have students from all over the Philippines, from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, on a very, very important topics that we will be discussing today. We in PMAP, we in the Academic Industry Committee, know that it's very important that we prepare our students to be ready for the real world, quote unquote. And what best way to do that than being able to hear from us practitioners, to hear from us in the HR field, and share our experiences, wisdom, and knowledge with you. We have three talks for today, and we are very excited to impart this with you because we know that you will learn from it, absorb as much as you can. And I know it's very tempting if you are in a webinar like this that you listen, yet you do something else. So I request that all of you focus on this webinar because this webinar is not for us. This webinar is for you. We want you to be successful in the years to come. If you're students, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, seniors, what level, life is not all about studies. Life, when you graduate, is going to be your career. But career is only one aspect of your life. There's other aspects, but career is very important. That's why we prepare this webinar for you to be able to be prepared for the next part of your life. Once again, we're very excited. I am personally very excited to be with you today. We are all excited in the Industry Academic Committee that we have 300 plus students with us. So this is a milestone. Congratulations to all of us. So I hope you enjoy this webinar. Take as much notes as you can and learn from our sharing. And by the way, it's not one way. It's not us learning from you, learning from us as well. We'd like to learn from you. So please do ask questions or give us your comments later so that we can learn from you too. So once again, thank you for joining today and let's enjoy the fun. Over to you, Lay.
Thank you so much, Dusty Penny, for that inspirational opening message. I'm so looking forward to the next session later, also as our esteemed panel of speakers are really came from the industry. And I hope that everyone enjoyed hearing from us. All right, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our main guest. So our resource speaker is an experienced learning OD manager from PT Holdings Corporation. Prior to PTC, prior to joining PTC, she worked as an HR officer focusing on OD and asset management at Fimna Properties. Furthermore, she gained experience in talent acquisition from the BPO industry. Our speaker has been active member of PMAP since she was under JPMAP. Now that she's the chairman of the membership committee of PMAP, her passion for developing people and talent bring her joy and fulfillment. Of course, coffee on it and a low chapter. That's how she describes herself, the person that I am. Our speaker is also graduate Master Human Resource Management from Polytechnic University Taguig and has earned her Master's in Social Relations from the University of Leeds. So, ladies and gentlemen, using our heart reaction button in Zoom, let us give a warm welcome to our speaker, Ms. Ida.
Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. Hello.
Good
Uh,
morning.
Hi, Lay. Good morning. Nice to see you here. Hello, Trusty Penny. Good morning. And to the entire 316 participants that we have right now in Zoom, good morning. Thank you for spending your morning learning something new today. It's really a good way to start the day. Diba? You always have to learn something because we need to keep learning to make sure we're moving ourselves to a better version of ourselves. Okay. So can I see from the chat box quickly lang, I want to know where are you coming from right now? You just type in the chat box your location right now. Currently, I am in Makati. We're working on site already. Okay, so we have people from Pampanga, Zamboanga, Angeles, NCR, of course, Cavite. Wow, we are nationwide. Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. There's from Bacolod. Okay, Makati. Hello there, Angeles. Wow, thank you so much. Okay, great. Thank you for that. No, I hope you are well and safe wherever you are right now. Okay, and another question. What year are you on right now? I mean, in terms of your college, anong year na kayo? Okay, fourth year. So these are graduating students, somewhere around their third year. Okay, fourth year. Wow, these are the exciting years of college. Nandito na lahat ng pressure, lahat na ng gagawin, thesis, OJT, report, lahat na nandito, no? And of course, with our topic today about, interviews, getting your first job, getting your first interviews, kasabayan na pinag-aaralan ninyo, no? So you have to learn how to present yourself as future professionals on your first company. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So, yeah, for this morning, we're going to learn about my topic to you is going to be about decoding the job interview. Okay, and let me pull up my uh, slides. Okay, one more question. Could you react with a thumbs up or heart or whatever reaction? Have you had an interview before, a job interview before? Because I believe some of you had their OJ. Could you use the reaction button so that I would know if any of you had their interviews previously or in the past? All right. Okay. So there are some, no? There are some of you who had already gone through a job interview. This is exciting because I would also like to hear how was your experience later on. Okay. We'll do some sharing about that. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, Lay, I would just like to check if you're seeing my screen to make
Yes.
sure. Okay, good. All right. So, decoding the job interview. Okay, so let me ask you again another question. Why interview? Why do companies do interviews? In the chat box, please kindly type your insights or ideas. Why do companies do job interviews? Ano ba to? Is it just because it is part of their recruitment process? Is this more about para lang before ka pumasok sa company nila, kilala ka nila, you're not an alien to them? Okay, all right. Let's read. To know more about their employees, find the right people. Standard, okay. Standard siguro, yeah. To know their employee, to gauge capabilities, skills, to know more about the applicants, background about the employee's capacity. If you're qualified, yeah, okay. Especially to know your strengths and weaknesses, okay. If you're qualified, yeah. If you have the knowledge about the job, all right. To know if you're fit for or suit for the position, okay. All right. Thank you so much. No, well, your answers are all correct. No, basically it's a standard process for each company to have job interviews with their future employees. No, but more than the process, it's really again to know more about you, to gauge your capabilities. You mentioned your skills, your strengths and weakness. Okay, and also your personality. More than the knowledge and skills, it's really the personality. Right now, it's very critical for companies to know whether you will fit in their culture. Okay, I believe meron kayong mga courses about organizational culture or behavior, or organizations business course, business subjects, and they talk about culture of the company. So one critical aspect of why companies do interviews is to know whether you are or you will fit in their culture. One quote that you would always see in the internet is they said that you hire for attitude and you train for skills. Huh? So that's why before hiring, they need to do interview because they need to know your attitude. They need to know how will you behave on certain scenarios or certain situations in the organization or at work. So it's important that aside from showcasing your technical knowledge, if you're applying for, let's say, an accounting associate or let's say an office staff, more than telling them that you can do this, and that, show to them your personality. Be natural, be who you are, okay, during interviews. So that's why it's important to have to go through an interview. Okay. So remember that it's always the skill, but most importantly, it's also about your personality. All right, next. Okay, so now I chopped or I cut the topics into three. No? Basically, it's about preparing the interview, what to do during the interview, and some uh, some keynotes to remember during an interview, and also the post-interview. Minsan kasi nakakalimutan natin after the interview, meron ba palang ginagawa right after an interview, hindi lang pala tayo mag-aantay ng call from the company or from the recruiter. Okay, so let's start with preparing for an interview. Okay, I want to know from those who said a while ago na nakapag-interview na kayo before. I want to know, could you type again in the chat box, what have you done before to prepare for an interview? Okay, in the chat box. Okay. Meron dito, ako, personally, before an interview, I would always search for the profile picture, the LinkedIn page or social media page of the recruiter. Ewan ko, but I just want to know the recruiter. So I'm not, it's not gonna be my first time to see his or her face. I feel more comfortable if hindi first time ko makikita yung face to interviewers. As much as I can, I research for the social media or professional page of the recruiter. Okay. The chat box, of course, create a resume. That's number one. Okay. That's the basic research about the company. Mind condition. Wow. Okay. practice English speaking. That's right. Research about the organization. You evaluate yourself. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You search about the company. You practice. All right. Okay. Great. I am amazed with you students because you know already what to do. Huh? You know already what to do, and this is just really more. I mean, I would be more of a sharing, no? Kasi you already know this, eh. You've gone through it, so I'll be more in the sharing part of it. So, three things that you prepare for an interview. Three critical things. No? Know yourself, know the company, and know the job, and then you align. Okay, know yourself. Because again, during an interview, it will be all about you. You know, the questions will all about who you are, what you can do, what can you bring to the table, can you do the job, can you fit in the culture. It's all about you. So you have to know yourself. Okay? Personally, at my age right now, I'm still am learning about myself. I am still discovering a lot for myself. And during those interviews, um, dun ka mapapaisip, sino nga ba ako? Ano nga bang kaya kong gawin? Who am I? What's unique about me? You know, companies may ask you about that. What's unique about you? Tell me about yourself that's not on your resume, or what's interesting about you. So again, it's all about you. So you have to know yourself. Reflect, you know, reflect, ano nga ba ako, sino nga ba ako, what are my qualities, what are my personality, your strengths and weakness during school days. Now that you are in school, um, you would know what are your strengths and weakness sa academic nyo, sa acads ninyo. Or if you have extracurricular activities, you would also know where you are good at and where you need to improve. If you had an OJT, that would also give you a sense of who you are. No? What What are the things that you were challenged in your OJT? Where did you excel, or what did you enjoy most during your OJT? So you can know yourself there, reflect. And then the job, of course. If you're applying for a job, you should know what you're applying for. Okay, baka kasi magulat kayo, hinire kayo, tapos ito pala yung gagawin ninyo. Nagulat kayo, di ba? Okay, so you have to know your job, to know the job. And that's basic because when you look for a job, um, you use the platforms. Diba? You have LinkedIn, you have JobStreet, you have Caliber, whatever platforms are available. Facebook, of course. No? When there is a job opening, um, you read through it, you digest it, you process it. You don't just scan through it. Ito, office staff, kaya ko to, apply ako dito. Or ito, graduate ako ng accountancy, therefore I will apply for an audit associate. Or I'm a graduate of an engineering, ito they're looking for a junior engineer, apply na ako dito, whatever it is. You have to know the details, detail by detail. Huwag lang tayong um, some tendencies of students, especially new graduates, they apply to all the jobs that they can apply to. As long as the job qualification says um, open for new grads or open for fresh grads, you already apply to it. But don't just look into that. Look into the meat of the job. Understand what is expected. Pag laging isipin, pag ako na-hire dito, ano bang gagawin? Kaya ko ba ito? What is expected of me? Diba? So, you always know the job. And aside from job, of course, the requirements. What are the requirements of the job, or what are they looking for in the candidate for this role? Next, the company. Okay, you also need to know the company and the industry because companies right now are amused with candidates who do their homework. Anong homework nga sa candidate? You research. Research about the company that you are trying to apply. Hindi lang porket sikat yung company, that's where you apply. There are a lot of great companies that you can apply for, apply to. And you need to know, ako, these are the things that I look for, no, in a company or pagka nag-a-apply ako, I research about the company and these are the things that I look. First is the values. Very important. What are the core values of this company? Align ba to sa values ko? Ba? Is it aligned with the values? Kasi if it's not aligned, baka hindi kami mag-meet. Para lang yung mag-boyfriend, girlfriend, di ba? Pag may liligawan ka, di ba, may getting to know phase. Pagka medyo hindi kayo nagtutugma sa mga bagay-bagay, nag-aaway kayo, nag-break kayo. So, ganun din sa company. Di ba? When you get into an employment, tapos hindi nagtutugma yung values ng company and yung values ninyo, there will always be conflict. Diba? And that's what you want to avoid. So, pagka nagkaroon ng conflict, ayawan na. Diba? So, that's why we need to know the company. So, that's values. I always look and study the core values. Ano ba yung vision and mission nito? Okay, the vision and mission ng company. Is it something na pwede ko silang matulungan? Is it something that I can also live with, like with the everyday work life? Kaya ko bang isabuhay din yung mission and vision nila? Kaya ko ba silang tulungan nun? Tapos I also look into their businesses. Ano ginagawa ng company na to? Ano ba yung, do they sell products? Do they sell services? Do they have sister companies? Do they have affiliates? I look into that. Tinitingnan ko kung ano ba yung main business ng company. And then, I also look into the, um, merong mga page, company web page who shares more about their companies. Merong mga companies who shares about uh, feedback of their employees on how is it working in this company, yung mga ganyan. Minsan may mga nakalagay there, what are the benefits, or ganyan. Pero ako, I'm more after of what are the employees saying about this company. I also look into Glassdoor, if you're familiar with the webpage Glassdoor. Merong silang binibigay, merong portion of the web page wherein employees can give ratings and can give feedback to the company. I am not solely relying on those feedbacks, okay, because I don't know where those employees are coming from, especially the negative feedback. So, but it just gives me a hint of, ito pala yun, may ganito, may ganyan. But I do not automatically remove the company from the list pag may nakita akong negative. Because again, we have due diligence. We can have time due diligence that we need to verify information, di ba ganyan. But at this stage, pag-applicant ka pa lang, hindi mo ma-verify unless you know someone in the company. But you also look into that, no? Ano yung mga feedback ng mga employees of the company. And then, another thing, if the company is, ito sa akin dito, personal to if the company is listed in sa stocks, ganyan, or whatever, I also look into if the available silang financial statement in in the in the internet. I also look into the financials because ako personally, I am more after the stability of the company and how is it performing financially. Okay? But in your case, since you're new grad, baka later on yun naintindihan. But very important, I think, are the core values. Ano yung business ng company na ina-apply ninyo? What do they do? And how do they serve their customers? And perhaps yung employees feedback. That's important. Okay? It's good to know those things. So you know yourself, alam mo yung ina-applyan mo, and you know the company that you might be working for, and you align. Kasi companies will see that. Companies will know if alam mo ba yung ina-applyan mo, alam mo ba yung kumpanya namin, bakit ka nag-a-apply dito. And they would also know kung mag-fit ka ba dun sa role at dun sa organization nila. Okay? So you have to know yourself, the company, and the job. Okay. Next, create a structure. Okay. When I say create a structure, When you decide to apply and submit your resume, tapos naka-receive ka ng invite for an interview, you start creating your structure. Again, this is all about research and siguro asking questions from the people you know who had their interviews before. Uh, get or prepare answers for mostly common interview questions. The most common interview questions. Create a structure. When I say creating a structure, pag nakakuha ka na nung ano-ano yung mga ini-interview, ano na mga tinatanong ng interviewers sa isang interview, especially for fresh grads. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you create answers. You prepare answers. But you do not memorize the answer. Okay? Never memorize an answer because interviewers would know and would sense if you are answering from something that you just memorized. Okay, hindi to acting workshop or acting opportunity that you just memorize a script and then you deliver it. It's not like that. Okay, you have to show and tell. Okay, when you deliver your answers, you show and tell. You tell your story. Okay, you show them your journey connected to the question, of course. Okay? So you create a structure, pagka ito yung tinanong sa akin, ito yung isasagot ko. Perhaps you can do key bullet points for the key answers or keywords, and then you tell them the story behind it. Okay? For example, what's your strengths or what's your greatest strength? Okay? For example, in your college days, nag-join ka ng isang organization, tapos you handle the project XY. Kunyari, okay, let's be specific. Nag-join ka kunyari ng, ano bang tawag dun sa mga organizations or clubs na about writing, journals or writing for the uh, student, uh, the student uh, paper, mga ganyan. Or how do you call that in college? Yung parang mga newspaper. Dati nung time namin may mga ganun eh, yung mga pinapamigay na mga leaflets. Tapos yung mga nandun, mga, uh, uh, how do you call this, writings from the students na kinokollage lang nila. Mga ganyan. So, kunyari doon ka nag-join sa isang writing club. And then you led a month kung saan ikaw yung nag-collate ng mga write-ups, and then you also make sure that the write-ups are in line or aligned with the theme of that month, and then you also came up with something creative for that month. Ayan. So, yan, journal, campus paper yan, student publication, mga ganyan. No? So, ikaw yung nag-lead for that month. So you just, and then naging successful, maganda yung naging turnout, and then you receive your recognition. So you don't just tell them that. I led a project for the month of January, and I received a recognition for that. So I think my strength is more of leading projects or leading project teams. I am good at leading and ganyan. You tell them the story. Um, Tell them that from the very beginning, para ka lang nakikipagkwentuhan with a friend. At kasi, ano sinalihan mong club? At kasi sumali doon. Anong ginawa mo? Did you volunteer or was it assigned to? Um, ano ba to? Ano yung mga steps na ginawa mo to make sure that everyone will be aligned? Did you encounter any conflict? Was there any person that's hard to deal with during that time? So may mga ka-group ka ba na medyo nag-lag behind the schedule? What did you do about it? You put meat to the answer. You make kwento about it. You don't just answer straightforward. Parang isang tanong, isang sagot. Huwag ganon. You tell them the story and make sure it's structured. Minsan kasi, Meron naman mga candidates, that's very fond of telling stories. Ang haba ng story. Okay, so sobrang dami ng details. The interviewer got confused already and got lost of the story. Make it concise, make it straightforward, but make sure there's a meat in the story. Okay. So, yun, you create a structure para hindi maliligaw yung interviewer. Nasaan na itong sinasabi nila? Nasaan na yung kwento niya? Nasaan na yung sagot niya? Minsan kasi ang dami yung sinasabi, but this is just what I want. Ito lang. Okay? So, yan. You create a structure. But you don't memorize. Okay? That's number one rule also, you don't memorize. And then practice. Of course, it's very important to practice. Practice what you have written. Practice your communication skills. Practice your hand gestures, your body language. If it's going to be a virtual interview, mas less on the body language. It's more on the eye contact. Okay? It's more on the eye contact, less on the body language. But if it's going to be a face-to-face interview, as in you have to practice. If you're meron tayong mga mannerisms, diba? Some employees or some people would have mannerisms na minsan hindi talaga nila maiwasan. But for job interviews, it's important that you are prim and proper. Okay? For example, right now I am sitting on an ergo chair. Yung ergo chair, yung umiikot-ikot, yung nagsiswivel the chair. Some candidates would tend to swivel when nag-interview. Okay? It's very important that you be cautious about it because the interviewer might get distracted. Ano mo, mag-focus na lang siya sa pag-swivel mo kasi doon sa sinasabi mo. So make sure that body language uh, are are kasi prim and proper kayo during the interview. You can, pero wag naman masyadong stiff. Okay, wag naman masyadong stiff. Just relax. Okay, if it's face-to-face interview, put your hands on your lap or on the table. Never cross your arms. Okay. Um, what else? Never put your arms inside of your pockets during interview. Yung mga ganon. Those are the things that I noticed with fresh grads. So just relax. Okay. Again, yung kaba, yung nervousness, nandun yan. Even ako. And siguro mga in my life, mga naka-20 plus interview na ako sa kanang buhay ko since graduate ako ng college. But uh, kahit nakasampung interview na ako, kinakabahan pa rin. There will always be that nervousness, that kaba in you. But that's normal. That will give you the required hormones to up your energy and your disposition that day. But do not let your nervousness get the best. Okay? So you always practice. How do you practice? Either you normal, you face the mirror, or you um talk to a friend, or you can also talk to your family, practice tayo, ganyan. Um, Either ways that will work as long as you practice. Okay. Um, for me, ako, what works for me is just by reading what I have written. Ganyan, nag-create na ako ng structure. O, ito yung mga isasagot ko, ganito, ganyan. Then I practice. Tapos I also watch um, YouTube videos of interviews. Yung mga, nowadays, in your generation, it's very easy to get access to learning uh, resources. YouTube is there. You can already watch how to to be interviewed. Ano yung mga tinatanong? What are the red flags? Ganyan. But it's important that you don't just watch, but you practice so that it becomes normal to you. Um, na-experience ko before during my college days din, may interview ako. Although I have my structure, alam ko yung sasagot ko, pero hindi ako nag-practice. I did not practice for some reason. No? Siguro confidence lang nagdala sa akin. Pero I did not practice. On the day of the interview, during my delivery of the answer, mahahalata mo na this is the first time that this person, I mean, mahahalata mo na first time niyang sinasabi itong mga words na it's not natural, it doesn't sound natural, it doesn't sound conversational. Okay. So, and then another is parang, yung parang iisipin mo, nahahalata nila na iniisip mo yung nandun sa sinulat mo. Diba? But if you practice, um, it will sound more natural. You will sound more conversational. Hindi ka parang nagre-recitation sa harap ng interviewer. Mas more of you are talking to the interviewer. So you should practice. Okay? Alright. Sige. So, that's what you need to prepare for the interview. No? So once you're ready for the interview, then we go to on the day of the interview. Ayan. So ready na kayo, di ba? You already have your structure, nakapag-practice ka, and then you also were able to reflect on who you are. You know who you are. You know the job that you're going to apply for. You know the company very well, and ready ka na for the interview. Okay, now, what to do on the day of the interview? So, I would like to know, okay, in the chat box again, I would like to know, um, quickly lang and very, very short lang, how was your first interview? Anong naramdaman nyo? Was it, were you able to get a job? Kinabahan ba kayo? Uh, were you excited? How did you feel about your first interview? And can you just share it with us? I wanted to know. How was it? Yung mga sumagot kanina na nakapag-interview na sila. How was it? Well, I can remember my first interview um, for an OJT company. Uh, apat kami. Apat kami magkaibigan. Siyempre, barkadahan yan, di ba? Pagka OJT, barkadahan yan pag mag-interview. Ang time namin. Kasi wala pang, nung time namin, very rarely makakakita ka ng job ad for an internship. You really have to go to the company or kung may kilala ka, pwede. Pero if you don't know anyone in the company, you have to go to the office of the company and submit your resume. So kami noon, apat kami, magkakabarkada kami. Pumunta kami sa Makati, may mapa kami ng Makati Business District, isa-isa yung mga companies, nag-submit kami ng mga resume and all of that. And there's also one in Alabang Business Center that we submitted our application. And all of us were able to go through the process. So nagkaroon ng exam. Tapos may interview right after. And that was very, ano ba yung na-feel ko? Na-shock ako, na kinabahan, na na-excite. Mixed emotion because na-excite ako dahil shocks meron na mag-i-interview sa amin after a long time of submitting application. Na-shock ako kasi ah shocks right after the exam, pre-interview, walang preparation. So, syempre ako noon, bata ako, wala ko alam, so akala ko lang magsasabit ka ng application and after a while, matatawagan for an interview. So, I was not prepared. And then, kinabahan of course because kinabahan ako because that is my first. Kinabahan ako dahil hindi ako prepared. And kinabahan ako because I wanted to get that that slot, that OJT slot kasi lapit lang sa bahay namin. So, that was my experience. So, as on my first interview, it was really mixed emotions. Okay. But on turn out nun, I wasn't able to get the slot. And I was so frustrated. I was so disappointed of myself. Okay, later on, to share yun. But that was how I felt during the first interview. Okay, Thank you for those who shared. Sabi nila, you felt nervous. Wow, you got hired narrows. Congratulations. Okay, intimidating, but you have to get hold of yourself, get through it. That is correct. Okay, you felt nervous. Okay, that's what's the last question? Like 5 to 10 years from now, how do you see yourself? Okay, nerve wracking. That is correct. Okay, all right. Thank you for those who shared. So that's common. Kasi sabi ko kasi no, yung kaba, it's always there. But you don't, sabi nga dito ni Genesee, you have to get hold of yourself so that you can get through it. And the questions, ayan, yung mga pasabog questions, yung mga interviewers will be ready for that. Okay. And nerve-wracking. All right. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so for the day of your interview, when you're ready, when you're prepared, what to do? Okay. The first one is first impressions last. Okay. First impressions last. They said that if okay, today this is more a face-to-face interview. The first 7 seconds of uh from the time that the interviewer sees you for an interview are critical because it will only take for that 7 seconds to judge you. Okay, to judge how you look, to judge how you present yourself. And that's very critical because that first impression lasts, di ba? So, naka-experience na ba kayo? Siguro during your college days, no, pagka first day of school, ganyan, lalo na first year kayo. First day of school, meron na kayong mga ano dyan, mga, in your own mind, no? Kung nakita mo to, ito wapo to, ito mas ito matari, o ito nerdy to, di ba? Yung mga ganun eh. You already have that judgment based on what you see. And recruiters are also like that. Pag nakita nila kayo, they also give that first judgment na, ganito, ganito. Ito, ang ganda magsuot ito. She dresses herself very professional. Ito, how do you call this? Very clean and groomed. May mga ganon. So, that that impression lasts. Meron ako, I've experienced as a recruiter, because I work as a recruiter in the BPO industry, and you in the BPO industry, very diverse yung profile ng mga candidates. So, I was assigned at the front desk of the office. So talagang sa akin lumalapit lahat ng tao. Dumadaan sa akin lahat ng tao. And yung waiting area, nasa harap ko lang. So, makikita mo dun sa mga, makikita mo sa mga candidates, um, the differences, no? So, minsan I had an impression that this candidate is um, very demanding, yung mga ganun, this candidate. Kasi the way they approach me, ganyan. This candidate is, sometimes, naiisip ko, ang impression ko to the candidate is um, very friendly because the candidate will always smile kahit ang tagal-tagal niya nag-aantay, nakasmile pa rin siya, and the way she approaches me, very polite and very courteous pa din. May mga candidates naman um, na sometimes I can use the word demanding because pagdating nila, they would want the process right there and then, kahit wala pa yung time nila, yung mga ganon. So, sa inyo, as first, first or second or fresh grads, okay, as fresh grads, um, make sure that you always impress the recruiter. Not just the recruiter, even the front desk, even the guards. Sometimes recruiters do that. Ako, before, ganun. In my corporate work as a recruiter, I would ask the guards, kamusta tong candidate na to? O kaya, ano ba to? Sinasabi ng mga guards sa akin yun. Binibigyan ako ng heads up niyan. Nagtaray po to. Nagganito po yan, nagganito yan, nagganito yan. So make sure that you you make good impression not just on the interviewers interview room, but right there and then when you step into the company, from the lobby guard, from the receptionist up to the secretary or the front desk or whoever you will be facing in that company. Make sure you make to impress them. You make them have this good first impressions of you. Okay, don't leave a mark uh, that that will ruin your um your interview in that company. Okay, so how do you make that? You greet, be courteous. If you have to wait, then wait patiently. If you want to follow up courteously. Okay, do not be uh huwag tayong mag-demand, 'di ba? Huwag mo yung demanding, "Ang tagal-tagal ko nang nag-aantay dito, matagal pa ba?" Yung mga ganyang linyahan, "Matagal pa ba?" Um, ano pa ba, meron pang mga candidates who will ask, "Can you just call me when the interviewer is already available for the interview?" May mga gano'n, no? So, let's make sure to be very courteous and polite. Okay, another thing, impressions. Your the way you look, the way you clothe yourself for the interview. Okay, ako ang ginagawa ko din dyan. I am very avid of research kasi. So research ako ng research lagi pag may interview. And advantage of the internet, you can already see uh, how they dress in the company. I had one interview before in a company sa BGC. Ito, hindi ulit ako nag-research. Okay, lesson learned ko yun. Hindi ako nag-research. And when I step in the company, um, wala employee kasi parang night shift yata yung floor na yon where I had this interview. Naka-night shift yung mga employees, so wala sila. Okay. Um, I dressed properly because I am working in a corporate office. Tapos when I applied for another company, uh, it's a different industry. So I dressed up, naka-slacks, naka-heels. I have my blazer, my black coat with me. Very corporate. Uh, and I think during the time, very suit naman yun dun sa role na ina-applyan ko. In HR siya, HR role siya. And then, pagdating ko dun sa company, pagdating ko dun sa nag-assist sa akin, um, the the person was wearing jeans, sneakers, shirt, casual shirt. So sabi ko, ah, baka naka-casual Friday kasi it was a Friday. Baka naka-casual Friday sila. And then, the recruiter came in, ganun din yung damit niya, parang tattered na nga yung jeans niya nun. Sneakers din siya. Very casual. So, during the interview, I asked this question on how's the culture of the company, um, in terms of dress code, what's your dress code in the company? Nagtanong na ako. Okay. So, um, the recruiter told me that the company is very, I mean, in terms of dress code, they're very laid back. They're very casual. Okay, so sabi ko, paglabas ko ng company na yun, when I reflect, sabi ko, okay, na-overdress pala ako. Because I was dressing too corporate, but the company I am applying for uh, is not corporate in terms of dressing. So I would always personally, I would always want to make sure that when I apply, um, the way I dress is already the way how this company dresses. Okay, how their employees dresses. Okay, kasi pwede kang, it's either ma-over dress ka or ma-underdress. When I say underdress, kumbaga kunyari kung very corporate yung company in-applyan mo, pagdating mo doon, naka-jeans ka, naka-sneakers ka. So, pangit din. Diba? So, in my next interviews, what I did, nag-research na ako. I look for sa LinkedIn, yung mga pinopost na company events, or kaya, for example, there's an employee na nagtatrabaho dito, minsan sa social media or sa Google, makakakita ka ng mga events nila or mga, uh, how do you call this, snapshots of what's, or, what's inside their office. How is it like to be in their office? May mga ganon. So that's where I get a clue. Ano bang susunodin ko? Mag-corporate ba ako? Mag-smart casual lang ako? Or ganito? But siguro if you would ask me, anong safe? Kunyari wala talaga akong makita, ma'am, wala akong makitang ah, pictures ng company, mga employees or events or office nila, wala akong makita. What's the safest? Well, for me, the safest personally would be a smart casual attire. Not too casual, but not too corporate. Okay? A smart casual attire will. And you can Google that. Maraming pegs. Marami kayong maging ideas on how um, to dress smart casual attire. So first impressions last. And then next, avoid fillers and exude confidence. Okay? Or to exude confidence. Avoid fillers. Okay. And I get a reaction again. Kung nakapag-interview na kayo or you've gone through an interview before, okay, can you give me a thumbs up if you notice yourself saying a lot of uh, um, yung mga ganon. Okay? Can I show? It's okay, okay? I mean, it's okay that you know that you're aware. It's good to be aware of that. Okay? Ako, of course, before the interview, before my professional life during college, marami pa rin. Until now, na-notice ko nga eh. Yung mga fillers. That's what we call fillers. Okay? So thank you for those who acknowledge that they have these fillers. Okay? During interviews, as a candidate, as much as possible, try to avoid that. How to do that? You practice. Kaya kanina may practice science. You practice the way you will answer, the way you will speak, because that will help you prevent more and when you answer questions. Because fillers, we use fillers when we don't know the answer and we're trying to find it in our mind, in the back of the mind. Or minsan tumitingin pa tayo sa ceiling. Di ba? May mga ganun pa. So, hinahanap natin yung answer to the question. Okay? Fillers are also used for if you are nervous, minsan mas dumadami yung ums and pagka kinakabahan ka. Okay? And that tells the recruiter that you're not confident with what you're saying. Minsan, you also use and if you're trying to just make a story. Diba? Because nga, it's not real and you're trying to just make up a story to answer the question, a good story. Therefore, you use and ums pagka hindi mo na alam yung susunod na kabanata sa story na sinasabi mo sa kanila. So, you avoid that and so you have to exude confidence. Okay? How do you do that? Again, body gestures. If your hands are, if you're fidgety or makulit ka, magalaw ka during the interviews, it shows the recruiter that you are nervous and you're not confident with or for the interview. Another thing, if eye contact, if you are looking on the side or up down, okay, um, it also tells the recruiter that you're not confident. Okay, so you have to present yourself confidently. You're confident that I can do the job. You're confident that I can fit in this company, and you're confident to whatever you are telling the recruiter. Okay, so you have to make sure that you exude confidence. Okay, next is you ask questions after the interview. Okay, sino dito again in the reaction button? Sino dito yung nagkaroon na ng interview tapos nag-ask ng questions sa dulo? Kasi recruiters will have that airtime for you to ask questions to them. Sabihin nila sa inyo, so at this point, I would like to ask you, do you have any questions for me? Yan. Sino dito yung nakapag-ask ng questions sa recruiter? Okay? Alright. Okay. So kung wala pa, okay, there, Christella, you're raising your hand. Or no? Okay. But in case you want to share, you can use the chat box so I can read that for the benefit of the other participants. But yeah, it's good to ask questions after the interview. Why? Because it will show the recruiter that first you did your homework. Because your question, of course, should be related to the company, to the job that you are applying for, and perhaps dun sa interview that you had. Uh, you can you can ask them questions so that they know that you know about the company, and then it also tells the recruiter that you are interested in getting the job, okay? Because a lot of fresh graduates, pag tinanong ka, may question, do you have any questions for me? May question ka pa ba before we end the interview? Mostly, in my experience, wala. Wala sila question. Okay, but uh, it's good for you to have or to prepare at least 2 to 3 questions, siguro. 2 to 3 questions about the company. If ever that those questions that you prepared were answered during the interview unintendedly, no? Or unintentionally, na-answer na siya, na-discuss na siya during the interview. Then, you can just tell the recruiter that you had questions in mind, but the questions were already answered during the interview, so you're already good. So if you have, okay, I just wanna read or acknowledge the chat box. No? Because from Cristela, nag-ask po ako kung paano magiging flow sa company. Oh yeah, that's also good. Right? Like, ask them what's next after the interview. After this interview, may I know what is the next step or what is the process? Or you can also ask them um, about, for example, the role. Kunyari, ngayon, mga tinatanong na ngayon, pag hindi na di-discuss pag hindi na di-discuss, ang tinatanong na ngayon, what will be the work setup for this role? Will it be hybrid setup? Will there be allowed work from home days? Mga ganun eh. So, you have to ask questions as much as you can so that the interviewer would know that you're interested on the role and in the company that you're applying for. If I may just share quickly, there are um, 2 questions during the interview because we are on the on the day of the interview. So, interview questions. Um, Meron nagtanong sa akin about uh, about how do you call this? About my friends. Okay. Nagulat ako because after such a long time of having gone through so many interviews, this is the first time I was asked, can you describe your friends? Who are your friends? What are they doing? What do they do for personal? And so for me, when I was answering the question, I am also asking myself, why are they asking this question? Okay. So Just in case you encounter that question, what are they trying to do? Is to know who you are based on who your friends are. Diba? Sabi nga nila, birds of the same feather flock together. So, for them to know your personality and um, how do you how do you deal with in terms of your group of friends, ganyan, they would ask you to describe your friends, and that's their way to find out who you really are. May ganon. And another question, you tell me about yourself question. Okay, just to share with you how I structure my answer to that. I read this article, I think it's an article from Harvard Business Review. No? Ang formula nila, and that's also what I am using, ang formula nila to answer that question is you start uh, with the present, who you are right now, and then next is the past. What have you done in the past? Anong past ka? Anong past mo? And then the future. Okay, so you start with your present and who you are, and then your past. Who um who are you in the past? What did you do in the past? And then your future. What are you trying to achieve in the future? So present, past, and then future. That's how I phrase it in the tell me about yourself question. Okay. Next, last. Okay. After the interview, what do you do? Okay, sorry for the heading. I wasn't able to change, but this should be post interview steps. No? So you send a you send a thank you email or a thank you message. It's very important. Ako as a recruiter, I appreciate thank you notes from my candidates and their their name sticks on my head. Okay. Again, this is making good impression with the recruiter. Well, regardless if you will get a job or not, if they find you qualified or fit for a job or not, send a thank you email because that's being you professional, being courteous to the recruiter. You thank them for the time that they spent with you and for sharing whatever they shared with you. And if you ask a question, thank them for answering the question. You will do that right after or on the day of the interview, after no interviewing you. And then you follow up. It's okay to follow up. It's not a new thing, no? People follow up. If you haven't heard from them for let's say uh 1 week, ako for me, yun yung lead time ko when I follow up. Because as a recruiter, sometimes it took me 1 week to be able to screen the rest of the candidates that I am screening for the role and be able to select who will I endorse to the next step. So 1 week is okay. If ever that wala kayong narinig from the interviewer after 1 week, perhaps you can do another round. Pero after two follow-up emails, then um, perhaps that's a cue that it's either they are still processing candidates, it's taking them a while to process candidates, or some other recruiters, nakakalimutan nila mag-send lang feedback um, feedback message to the candidates. So perhaps it's time for you to move on to the next company. Okay, just take that as a cue. And lastly, you reflect. Okay, if you will notice, kanina ko pa sinasabi yung reflect, reflect word. Because it's very important for you to reflect after the interview. Ano yung sagot ko ng tama? Ano yung sagot ko ng mali? Ano yung mga possible questions na tanongin ulit sa akin in the next interview that I will have? And ano yung pwede ko pang i-improve on the next interview that I had? It doesn't have to be so serious. Minsan, pwede ka lang tumawag sa friend mo, magkwento ka, nagkaroon ka ng interview, chikahan kayo, ano nangyari. And then from that conversation, you would know, you are already reflecting na ito yung nangyari ng interview na to. And that's where you learn so that on the next company that you will apply for. Siyempre, ako, I know, especially kayo, mga fresh graduates, talagang apply all the way yan, di ba? I mean, whichever company. I mean, if you are a fresh graduate, majority of you are hindi pa kayo hindi pa gano'n kadami yung qualifications or filters, if I can call it filters, in applying for a job. Pagka kasi nagkaroon ka na ng work, mas dumadami yung filters mo. When I say filters, dapat nasa ganitong location siya, dapat ganito lang yung apply ko, dapat ganito lang. But for fresh graduates, because I understand that what you're looking for is you want experience, you need experience, and you want a company that can give you that good experience from the very first uh, time na mag-work ka. Diba? You want to have a good experience. So, that's okay. But, uh, again, you reflect and then for sure mag-a-apply ka pa sa iba. Meron ka pang magiging interview. So, from that reflection, you apply what you learn. You apply kung ano yung mga needs for improvement na na-identify mo. And then you also apply ano yung mga dapat mo lang i-continue na ano maganda sagot ko sa tell me about yourself. So, sa next company ko, ito ulit sasagot ko. Siguro minsan may tweak lang tayo ng konti, pero maganda to. Tutuloy ko to. Yung mga gano'n. So, you reflect. Always reflect. Okay? And I think that sums up the things that you have to do, okay, for an interview. Okay? And from that, we were able to decode, ito pala yung nangyayari. I hope I was able to somehow help you decode yung mga um, interview cues, yung mga interview steps, no? Na, meron pa palang mas malalim na pwedeng gawin from this step na alam natin. Okay? So, there. Okay, well, just share lang. Ito yung kanina sinabi ko, no? Three questions, three interview questions that I experienced. The middle one is one time ko lang na-experience. Hindi na ulit tatanong sa akin yan na ibang recruiter. There's just one recruiter who asked me about it. Can you tell me about yourself? Uh, the basic question. Yun ang lagi yung opening question ng mga recruiter. And then, may question din sa inyo, what's your salary expectations? So, as a fresh graduate, it's also good to answer this properly. Um, Again, you do your research on this area. Uh, may mga job advertisements that would give you the range or the salary budget for the role that you are applying for. And I assume that when you applied to that and reflecting salary, that's one thing that you already considered. Your asking salary must be in between or pasok dun sa range nila. But if you do not have an idea on the salary, you can do a research. Again, data is very much available in your generation. So it's good to ask, to do research. And based on your qualifications as a fresh graduate with project experience, what is the salary range for this position? So what you can do, you can just tell the interviewer that based on my research, I did the research and based on it, the industry range for the role is, let's say, 50,000 to 20,000 pesos. So any amount in between that range would be acceptable for me. Mga ganon. So again, do your research on that. It's a homework for you so that you're prepared when you are asked of this question. Okay? Again, that's it. No, good luck and be the very best of you on every interview that you will have in your entire journey, not just during the space that you're looking for your first job, but also on your other interviews as you go along on your careers. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much, everyone.
And so thank you so much, Ms. Liza, for that valuable information you provided. We're very excited for our audience to have the first job interviews and apply these strategies and mentioned. Okay, so we'll now have our Q&A, our question and answer. So So for your questions, kindly type in the chat box. And due to time constraints, we'll also be answering three questions. The first three questions. Uh, Again, but later on, if we still have time, we can ask our speakers again after all the speakers have already presented. Okay? Okay. So, Slida, we have one question here. It's actually said through text. How do you think should the fresh graduates convince the employer to hire them, especially if he or she doesn't have any work experience?
Okay, thanks, Leah. Sorry, I wasn't able to catch the first few words.
How do you think should the fresh graduates convince the employer to hire them, especially if he or she doesn't have any work experience to begin?
Okay, that's one of the dilemma ng mga fresh graduate. And honestly, ako din, ganun din yung naging experience ko when I applied for, in my case, an OJT work. Kasi nga wala akong experience at all as in fresh. Okay? Um, what I did there was, um, it will be more in the personal side. Okay? You have your extracurricular activities, and what you can do is to connect um, your answers to the question based on your personal background. Okay, you've had this experience. For example, the question here is, how do you deal with conflict in the workplace? Okay, so syempre, you have an experience having a conflict at the workplace. So perhaps what you can do, how you can answer that is, you can say that the most related incident that you had was a conflict with, let's say, with a teammate in a group project or in your thesis perhaps. Like, yun naman yung may mga maraming conflict kapag sa thesis, medyo hindi kayo nagkakasundo ng group if it's a group. So, you can tell them that. You can share to them the most related incident that you had um, in response to the question, regardless if it's a workplace, because they would know naman, they would understand that you don't have any work experience. So they will not they will not expect you to answer something that is just made up, a made up story. So don't do that, okay? They will understand wala kang work experience. So you can just connect it to something that's related. Humugot ka from either your academic experience or your personal experience because that's what you have as a fresh graduate. Ayun yung bawat mo. Meron kang napagdaanan sa personal, meron ka rin napagdaanan sa school. Or kung may extracurricular activities ka pa, let's say you are a member of a band or a member of a K-pop group, hindi ko alam, pero yung mga extracurricular activities that you do outside, um, that dun ka huhugot kung isasagot mo. That is related to the question.
Okay. So thank you so much. Ayan. So we have another question. For fresh graduates who may still be exploring or thinking about what career path to take, what is your view on an employer's perspective of applicants keeps on jumping from one employer to the other?
Okay. Uh, Jumping from one employer to the other. Ayan yung sinasabi nga sa industry ngayon na ang mga millennials at Gen Z now are job hoppers. Okay? For me, personally, my take on that, um, before I share with that to you, i-share ko yung sinabi ng professor ko during college. Sabi niya sa amin nun, ang advice niya, if in 6 months, you don't see yourself staying in this or in the organization for a long time, say 5 years, if you don't see yourself staying in an organization in 5 years for whatever reason, then leave. Okay, don't stay further and look for another company where you think you will fit. No? Um, Yun yung tinandaan ko. And when I apply for a job and I start in a new job, the 6 months are very critical. And that's where I reflect. Okay, I reflect kakabato ko, okay ba yung mga tao dito, nakakasundo ko ba, my boss especially, okay ba ako dun sa superior ko, sa supervisor ko, kasi those are the critical aspects for me to stay in the company and in the role. Dapat, yun yung factors na tinitingnan ko. Okay? But my take on employees or on uh, people who jump from one job to the other, um, I would always have this mindset kasi that I always try to understand them. Meron lang siguro silang different priority that this company cannot provide, and so they look for another company or they jump to another company that offers them a better opportunity. As long as, okay, when you're jumping from one job to another, for me, it's okay as long as it's contributing to your growth. If you're just jumping from one job to the other, at ang tumataas lang sa'yo ay salary at hindi ka naman nag-i-improve as as a person and as a professional, for me, my take on that, baka wag na lang din. Perhaps maybe because financial for me is not the number one factor. But for me, the number one factor is my professional. Okay? Kasi I can do side hustles to fill up the kulang on my salary. That's personally me. I am really more of professional growth because I think for me, professional growth, pagka ito yung nag-grow sa akin, there will come a time that the salary or the financial will follow. As long as I know how to, how to strategize um, my career. So yun, I don't have, I personally, I am not against it as long as you're doing it for the right reason. Okay? Yeah.
So thank you so much, Ms. Liza, for answering these questions. I know you have a lot of things to ask for our participants, but please send your questions to us later and during the chat box. Again, we still have time to answer later. But at this point, we will call on Ms. Vanessa Makinay, a member of our academic industry committee, to present the certificate of appreciation to our speaker for
Good morning. So, Miss Ray, we're waiting for the slides. Thank you, Miss Liza, for sharing your knowledge and expertise. For sure, ang daming natutunan ng ating mga students. And very overwhelming na yung kanilang mga reactions and at the same time yung mga comments nila. So while we are waiting for the certificates, shout out again to all the students who attended this webinar. Hindi pa tapos. Marami pa silang matututunan. Tama ba, Miss Lay?
yes, correct. Shout out and adding our viewers from this YouTube and also we're live on Facebook. Ayan,
Nandito na ba? Sorry for the delay, Miss Liza.
okay. Share the link. Okay. Can you see this?
All right. So here we go. Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Miss Liza Arceo for imparting valuable insights and expertise as a resource speaker for the Career Lunch webinar series, Must-Have Skills for New Job Seekers in the New Now. Given this 17th day at the month of November in the year 2022. Signed by our chair, Mr. Mariel Vargas Quina, Migs, hello, Miss Ana Maria Pongado, and Mr. Rene. Congratulations again, Miss Liza Arceo, and hope to see you also with our more to go webinars. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Leah, and the rest of the AI committee. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you also to all the students who are here um, in this webinar. I hope I was able to share something that you can bring to your in the preparation for your job interviews. And baka malay natin one of these days ako mag-interview sa inyo. So I
Correct.
hope to see you around. Okay. So that's it. Thank you so much po. Maraming maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Slide, for that wonderful, insightful presentation. Okay. So moving on to our next topic for this program, our next speaker will share with us some tips to manage content presence. So our speaker is the first Filipino to be certified with the Success Principles and Advanced Canfield Methodology by Jack Canfield. She's also Jack Canfield is an author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul and the Success Principles. She is also a credentialed associate certified coach or ACC by the International Coaching Federation. She is also a motivational speaker, success coach, and author. She also is a proud Filipino that can be found in Jack Field's book, Living the Success Principles. Our speaker has also written three books, which are The Career Shift Followed by a Passion, Ask for a Bigger Blanket, Huwag Malungkot Pag Maikli ang Buwan, and one, and that keep forward shift managing your life in the time of pandemic, guidance from mentors, coaches across the world, which is released last week. She is also ranked number 6 in LinkedIn's top 100 influential Filipino women so far last 2020, and also in the top 100 Filipinos for inspiration and motivation in LinkedIn years 2019 to 2021. So, folks, participants, students, let us give a virtual wow Zoom reaction welcome to our esteemed guest speaker, Ms. Anna Maria Penny Monta.
Thank you very much once again, Lay, and thank you for the emoticon of Margie. Oh. One of the things that was not said was about my career experience because that bio was for a different purpose. Sorry about that, Lay. So, like Miss Liza, I worked in the BPO. I was the first employee in the country of the contact center named Convergys. So my employee badge number is 00000000000001. I think there are now 135,000 employees and okay, ng attrition. So can you just imagine how many people have worked at Convergys now concentrics? One of the things that was asked of me to do was my first KPI then was recruit, 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 recruit. Ay naku, sa dami ng recruit ko, sa dami ng na-interview ko, I know how things have changed over the years and how things have um, digitalized. And this is what we are going to talk about today. So I hope you're ready. So my topic is about managing your online presence. So we know that all of us, I'm sure without an exception, we have our online presence. So my question to you is, how do you manage it? And where are you online? So please type in the chat box what you have. Do you have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest? So please type in the chat box all of that, all of the above. If you have certain ones and those, please type it in the chat box and let's see what you have. All. Somebody said all. Facebook and TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all of the above. Wow, except for Snapchat, IG, Twitter, all po. Wow. Wow. Galing nyo ha. And because of the pandemic, I'm sure many of you started your own YouTube channel, your own Instagram, you know, or even Pinterest. So, ang question natin is, what's the difference among all those? One of the things pala that I have to mention, aside from being here in academic industry, I am also a professor. Nakalimutan ko sabihin yun. I'm both industry and academe. So I teach at Nelasao College of St. Benil. Yay! I know there are some Benilians here, and I hope to see you on November 25 when there's a student assembly and there's a faculty assembly. Maybe we'll cross paths along ARG. So, hello, Benilians. And for those in Pampanga, at Kapampangan din ako, pero dito mo ang alam ko sa Kapampangan. Anyways, okay, let's continue. So, so let's talk about the different platforms, the different social media platforms. So which one is the right platform to use, especially if you are looking for a job? Who is your audience? How can you reach them? What are your goals? So choosing the right platform, this is a 2022 survey, WordStream. And if you will see, Facebook has 2.7 billion users, and the age range is this. The purpose is really building relationships, and it's best for building brand loyalty. Companies have Facebook, their own Facebook, aside from their own website. Now, Twitter, there are about 353 million users. So, again, you will see a lot of tweets coming from the Western countries. There are a lot of tweets also coming from us. But Facebook, mas Facebook tayo eh. Pinterest, 442 million users, and mostly females. So this is, I'll give you example of what's in Pinterest. YouTube, 2.3 billion users. Many of us watch YouTube videos. And as Ms. Liza said, if you want to practice interview, watch how they conduct interviews. There's so many things that you can learn from YouTube. I'll talk about mainly about LinkedIn. LinkedIn has 740 million users. Now, you see the age here, that's not accurate because now we're asking all students in almost all schools that I've talked to put your LinkedIn profile already as early as now. As early as first year, you can put your LinkedIn profile there. I was talking to one of my students and he was saying he is on his second year in business intelligence and analytics, but he has two side gigs. Two side gigs. He's a content writer, and that you can put in LinkedIn already. And we'll talk about what you put in LinkedIn. Insta, 1.2 billion users, and it's really building relationship. And there's a lot of things that now are selling on Instagram as well. TikTok, if you have TikTok, is fairly new, but look at this, 689 million users of TikTok. And TikTok is now also being used by companies. So where do you go? If you're looking for a job, where do you go and where do recruiters go? Where do recruiters take a look at the profiles of the applicants and where do they stop, quote unquote, applicants and not just applicants, employees as well. And I'll make a point about that later. So I was reading my LinkedIn, and this guy is the HR director of Intercon Hotel in Muscat in the Middle East. And he was saying LinkedIn is not the new Instagram. So we have to be very cautious about what we put in the different platforms. So sometimes before the elections, we saw a lot of LinkedIn posts that's very political. And we're saying LinkedIn is not for political, it's for professional networking. So people need to understand like what he says, what ethics mean and professionalism is those who have that maturity will use LinkedIn profile for that. LinkedIn is not the new Instagram. So once you create your LinkedIn account, and I will teach you how to create your LinkedIn account, give you some tips on how to create your LinkedIn account. Okay. So I copied a post here. This is Facebook of this lady called Pilar Almera. And who is she? She is the president of uh, Makati Medical Center. And she is the former president of PMAP. She is the past president of PMAP. So she has to be very careful with what she posts because being president of the Makati Medical Center and being past president of PMAP have to be very careful with what you post because people follow you. So employers check what you post, language you use, which includes work ethics and etiquettes, and the hashtags that you use as well. What do you post? Do you complain about the company or do you complain about your school? And I know of some people who were sued already for cyber libel, because they were saying bad things about other people on social media. Nagdemandahan na. So let's move natin paabutin doon. So if we can avoid saying negative things, don't say negative things. Find a way to say it in a different way. And positivity, when you become positive, the more positive you are, the more positive comes your way. In Facebook, you can put activities outside of work. You can also put your gatherings at work in Facebook and other platforms. But we'd like to check also, employers would like to check also, what do you have outside of work? Do you play computer games? Do you hang out with friends? Or do you hang out with friends? Are you a beach person? No. No, this is the catch. So we use this social media also for employers. Pag may nagpaalam ng sick leave, tapos nag-post na sa Boracay pala. Ah, anong klaseng sick leave yan? Ah, except na if it's allowed work from home, pero hindi ka naman pwedeng sick leave na nasa beach. Nasa beach mismo, like swimming. So be careful with what you post, and the activities should match what you say that you are going to do. And I said background investigation. At times, we use social employers use social media for background investigation. And time of usage. Ngayon, I received a message. I received a messenger message from a friend of mine at 3:20 in the morning. Now you might ask, Miss Penny, gising ka ng 3:20 in the morning? Oo, kasi I have to go to the restroom because I drink a lot of water at night. Pero pagtingin ko, ano ba yan? Bakit naman siya nagme-message ng gandong oras? I don't answer, of course. But make sure that time of usage and the length of usage of your usage in the social media is also limited. Because baka naubos na yung oras mo sa kaka-social media na nakakalimutan nyo na yung ACADS mo. ACADS, remember, your ACADS are very important. Now that you're on third year, and for those who are graduating on OJT, it's very important that you are able to balance your social media accounts, your social media engagement, your social media presence, your online presence with your ACADS, and be ready to face the new journey, the start of a new journey in your life. So networking is in the digital age. There's a lot of networking activities, events like this. This is already networking. So you can message somebody from another school, we build that network. Platforms to build your network is very important, and get to know other people because your network is your network. I always believe that. The more people you know, who knows, the person that you meet can help you find a job. Tools as well. So that we talk about the tools and LinkedIn later. Still a place for face to face. Now, you're graduating. Some of you are graduating. Said already mandated, second term should be hybrid, should have already face to face. And I have some, I know some of our students here may not have even seen the school yet, may not have even stepped foot in the school. Now it's so important for us to see each other and be able to network face to face. I have um, grandchildren already, and my granddaughter has not set foot in a school nor played with other children because she was born during the pandemic. Ano yung social skills niya? Ano yung social skills niya interacting with other people? And importante yun. Kasi in our lives, never did we imagine na magkakaroon ng pandemic. Yun nga eh, ano yung endemic? Ano yung pandemic? Lockdown, okay lang. 1 month lang siguro po. Isang linggo lang siguro. But it became longer and longer and longer. So we have to be ready for the digital platforms. Now, what I'll talk to you about is LinkedIn. Some of you may have your LinkedIn accounts already, but I encourage you to really have your LinkedIn account now. Even if you're freshman, and even if you are just um, third year, fourth year, second year, even senior high would be okay. Just have your LinkedIn presence already. Now you might say, Miss Penny, wala naman ako susulit sa LinkedIn. Eh. Paano yan? Okay, so what is LinkedIn? So let's compare the other social media with a professional mindset, having a professional mindset in LinkedIn. Facebook, you'll say, I like donuts. In LinkedIn, the way to say it is, I operate, I hope to operate a donut franchise one day. So it's a professional way. You like donuts, you want to have a franchise of donuts one day. Snapchat, watch me eat a donut. How do you convert that to LinkedIn? I'm looking for a donut. I'm looking for a job at a donut company. Maybe this person really loves donuts. Here's a cool photo of my donut. That is in Insta. And in Pinterest, here's a donut recipe. So how do you combine those two to put in LinkedIn? I have 3 years experience making donuts. So because of the love for donuts, already had experience working in a donut company. Spotify, I'm listening to donuts. There's such music like donuts and title. How do you convert that to LinkedIn? My top skills are donut production and sales. And if you put it in WhatsApp, anyone wants a donut, here are 3 recommendations from former donut owners. Because in LinkedIn, you can ask for recommendations. So how do you make your LinkedIn profile? So you build your professional network and connect to jobs. That is so important. Now you might say, Miss Penny, bakit LinkedIn hindi jobs? Both. You need both. If you're applying for a job, you need both. However, LinkedIn is more real time, and that's what I want to make sure that you understand. LinkedIn is more real time. Every time you have an achievement or anytime you have a new skill, update your LinkedIn. Job Street, you can't do that because Job Street, you submit the resume. It's only when you're looking for another job that you update your resume and submit to Job Street. LinkedIn is real time. So really a lot of connections in LinkedIn. There are more than 690 million professionals in over 200 countries, and it's growing and growing and growing every day. That's why we encourage students to put or build their LinkedIn profile as early as possible. Now, how do you build your LinkedIn profile? I'm sure if you have career placement offices or um, for the OJT, they already tell you how to build your LinkedIn profile. How do you make it stand out? Because everybody has LinkedIn profiles, but how do you make it stand out? What will make the employer call you at hindi yung taga-ibang school? Bakit ikaw at hindi siya? O bakit siya at hindi ako? Hindi ikaw. So how do you make your LinkedIn profile stand out? So who would you want to engage with? This is a real account of my student. I don't know if the Vanillians here know him. This is Leonard. And he has activities already there. And I was telling him, please continue to update your LinkedIn. One of the things that's important is having a picture. Pag walang picture, hindi ka masyado na-engage. We'll talk about that later. So this is my LinkedIn. Um, and if you take a look at my LinkedIn, it has a lot of things there. I have, how many connections do I have? I have 13,342 followers. I have 500 plus connections. And this is what I do. So I'm really engaged in LinkedIn. I post almost every day. So what do you post? You ask me. So set up your LinkedIn account. So visit linkedin.com. And this is where, or on your desktop, laptop, or on your mobile. And remember, this is so important because companies now use LinkedIn more often than jobs, or equally with JobStreet. They use both. So it's very important that you have a LinkedIn account. Now, add a photo. Why is it important to add a photo? Because members with photos get up to 9 times more connection requests, 21 times more profile views, and 36 times more messages. Now, I had a friend whose photo was his tattoo. His tattoo. And it didn't look nice. It really didn't look nice. So I was messaging him. I said, change your photo in LinkedIn. Now, I'll ask you, which is more professional? This photo or this photo? The first one or the second one? Can you type in the chat box what you think is more professional? The second one. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yes, the second one. You know, this first photo was taken also the same day that my second photo was taken. This was a PMAP photo. And wala, I was just having fun when photos were being taken. So I could upload this, I could use this, but of course professionally. So I upload this, I use this. Um, in my different social media accounts, I have different social media profile pics, photos. So my personal Facebook would have me and my husband. My Insta would have that, like iba-iba, depending again on the purpose. It's very important that you have a picture, a professional photo in your LinkedIn. Again, Pag walang picture, hindi masyadong iniintindi. Kasi hindi nila alam kung tunay na tao ba to o fake account ba to. So, importante may picture ka sa LinkedIn. Your headline. So, I'm sure you know Chot Reyes. Chot Reyes of Pilas. Describes the role you have or what you want, or it can describe the value you add. If you look at Chot Reyes, it says certified global leadership, agile coach, Marshall Goldsmith executive and team coach, and Chot Reyes. So marami siya na isusulat. Now, you might say, anong mailalagay ko sa headline ko ay fresh grad pa naman. It's something that you are passionate about. What are you passionate about? Passionate about writing, passionate about dealing with people. So it's what you want people to know about you. It may not be a job that you have kasi wala kang trabaho, or it might be your own JT experience, or ano ang gusto mo for people that you'd like other people to know. There's a portion here in LinkedIn that says about, and which creates an elevator pitch. Once again, this is my former student. So HR ha, HR ang kinuha niya. Ngayon, nasa US Army siya. So, as you can see, she talked about what she has experienced. So, I am senior airman Salita, so on and so forth. She has HR experience and the likes. So you can write 1 or 2 sentences about who you are and 3 to 5 sentences about your experience, top skills, and your key passion. The key passion is very important because it will show whether you have the motivation to stay in the job, and if you like what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. If you are in a kind of role that you are passionate about, you don't have to work a single day in your life. Remember that. There's some people who love cooking and started cooking because of the pandemic. And maybe that's something, and you're taking up culinary or you plan to put up a restaurant, something that you may want to write about or want to have a career in hospitality, something that you can write about. So 1 or 2 sentences about your future goals. What do you want to be in the future? So make sure that you have your elevator pitch in the about section. Now, detail your school experience. So members, make sure that if um, you have experience in extracurricular activities, put it there. It doesn't have to be this. This is my nephew's um, Facebook page, LinkedIn page. So he was president of orgs. Now, you might say, Miss Penny, hindi naman ako president. Di bali, member ka ba? Kung member ka, lagay mo yan dyan. Put it there. Because if you are members of all those organizations that you joined in school and you keep it up to date, you will receive more friend requests, more invites, there will be 8 times more profile views and 10 times more messages. And this morning I had about 3 messages to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my own favorite social media platform. This is where I get more engagement because I post regularly. So don't forget also to put in your location, your education, your licenses or certifications, accomplishments in college, since you are still in college, your skills and recommendations. Now you might ask, ano recommendation? Now, if you may portions in LinkedIn that you can get recommendations from your teachers. You can get recommendations from your former bosses and your OJTs. You can get recommendations from, let's say you did a gig work during the pandemic. You can get recommendations from them. Now, if you're a good cook or good culinary skills and you started an online business because of the way and started selling online, you can get recommendations from your clients, from your customers. Ako, na, ngayon, ang tanong niyo, Miss Penny, nakakaya naman kung humingi ng recommendation. Ay, naku, mga bata, my dear students, sa buhay, para kayo maging successful, dapat, I always say this, never give up, remember that, keep on learning, and that was said also by Miss Liza. And the third one is dapat sa buhay walang hiya ka. Walang hiya. Not shy. Don't be shy to ask for recommendations. Because the worst thing that could happen is yung hiningan mo na recommendation, you'll say no. Meron kang bang nawala sa'yo? Wala. In the first place, wala kang recommendation. Kung humingi ka ng recommendation, hindi ka binigyan, wala kang nawala sa'yo. What if that person says yes? Then may recommendation. So remember your former professors, your favorite professors, your if you're active in the community, if you're active in community pantries or in your barangay or in uh, church, spiritual, religious, or whatever, if you are active in um, your own activity, for example, I'm a feaster. I belong to Brother Most Like Jesus, and I speak every now and then in the peace conference. So I did ask for recommendations there as well. Mahilig akong humingi, ng humingi, ng humingi. Sa kakahingi ko, minsan nakukulitan na sila. So they say yes. Remember, nung mga bata tayo, nung mga bata din kayo, magpapaalam kayo, pwede ba lumabas para maglaro? When you were kids, when you were 5, 6 years old, wala pa masyadong maraming traffic. Your parents will say no, no, no. Pero ask kayo ng ask. Sige na, sige na, sige na. Sa kakakulit nyo, pumapayag. Ganun din yan. But remember, learn when to stop asking. Okay? It's important that you have recommendations in LinkedIn. So build your professional network. So if this is you, start inviting your friends. Start inviting your batchmates. Start inviting your schoolmates. And then, sila may friends din. You might want to invite yung friends nila. This is the second degree. And the third degree is a friend of the friend. And before you know it, you have a lot of people in your network. And who knows, those people in your network may be the ones that can help you find the dream job you want. Yung ideal job na gusto mo, yung gusto mo, baka yun na ang makakatulong sa'yo. Connect to opportunities. So, in LinkedIn, meron job preferences dyan that recruiters know that you're open to being hired. Sabi nga kanina ni Ms. Liza, paano yan? Wala pa akong experience. Naku, okay lang yun kasi maraming naghahanap din ng fresh grads. Ngayon, nasa sa inyo lang mo on how to make your LinkedIn profile stand out. Now, I'll tell you, the way to make it stand out is mag-like kayo ng ibang post ng mga ibang tao. mag-comment kayo ng mga post ng ibang tao. Pag meron kayong nakitang, for example, World Economic Forum na article, share it in LinkedIn, or if you read an article in LinkedIn, repost it. Just be active on LinkedIn. And that's one way to get yourself noticed. Hindi pwedeng hihintay ka lang, wala kang gagawin. Kailangan active ka. Now, if you are looking for a job, this is where you search, navigate through the job tab, and put in the keywords. So if you're looking for a business analyst job, may maraming naka-post na job sa LinkedIn. Wala lang ang exact sweldo, may range yung mga ibang companies na binibigay na range. And one thing that Liza was not able to mention that I'd like to share with you because this is a new feature of LinkedIn. When you navigate and prepare for an interview, navigate to the jobs tab, and bagong feature siya. When you navigate to the jobs tab, on the left panel, you will see interview prep. And the interview prep on the left side, as you can see, has 26 questions. 26 questions, can you imagine? Now you can prepare for those questions already. And as Ms. Liza mentioned, the first question is tell me about yourself. So tell me about yourself. Now, how do you prepare for that? If you click that you want to practice, there are two ways to practice. You can write a response or you can record a video. So you can even record yourself speaking in front of the camera of your laptop or of your mobile, answering the question. Now, tell me about yourself. Kung mo nang sabihin yung pangalan mo kasi may copy na sila ng resume mo. So tell me, sometimes they ask the question, tell me about yourself. That's not written in your resume. And, you might say, wala akong job experience. But, you can say something like, if you did this, I took care of my mother when she was sick. Unfortunately, she passed on. And I was the carer for her. Ako nag-alaga sa kanya. What transferable skills meron yan? Anong skills mo? Pagmamahal sa magulang. One. Pangalawa, dapat kung ikaw ang nag-aalaga, may attention to details ka. Kasi pinapainom mo lang sa tamang oras yung kamot, binabantayan mo, sinisiguro mong nakakain sa tamang oras. Your attention to details are there. You might say, alaga lang naman yun eh. Hindi alaga lang yun. Maraming skills ang makikita sa kahit sa pagluluto, kahit sa plantito-plantita, kahit sa online selling, kasi may marketing yun. And the things that you think are not job related, you can identify skills that are required, that may be required of the job that you are going to apply for. Now, I encourage you to practice, record a video, because companies now do digital interviewing. Hindi interview ng recruiter sa'yo digitally, ha? But I will give you a link and you will answer the 3 questions using, for example, ParaView. I've known 2 companies that use ParaView already. Nagsasalita ka sa harap ng computer. Rine-record mo yung answer mo. And you can practice that with LinkedIn. So record a video and you are able to watch yourself answering that question. So you can record again. And if you want your recruiter friend to review your answer, you can even send this recording to a friend of yours who is a recruiter or to the placement officer or to the one who conduct mock interviews in their school and ask them, what's your feedback on my answer? Remember, there are 26 questions like Tell me about the time you showed leadership. Oh, hindi lang yan pang trabaho. Pang eskwela din yan. Leadership in schools, leadership in a project, leadership in your thesis. If you were the group leader, why should we hire you? Yan, madalas din itanong yan. So there's so many things that you can pick up from LinkedIn. So remember, in closing, remember the settings of your social media account, public or private. So be careful with that as well. I'm sure you know this. In your resume, include your LinkedIn URL. So if you're sending your resume to JobStreet, include your LinkedIn URL so that the recruiters can have an opportunity to check your LinkedIn without having to go and search you on LinkedIn. They'll just click your URL and they're already in your LinkedIn page. Of course, be aware of hackers. You know that. And remember data privacy pala, ha? You cannot just put anything on LinkedIn without view of the picture of a gathering. You have to ask permission to make sure that that's allowed. I had a webinar before, took a picture, and I asked, can I post this in LinkedIn? And there was one person who said, can you uh, can you cover my photo because my boss is not know I'm attending this. So don't forget to make sure of data privacy. Be honest with your post. Don't exaggerate too much. And please, please not please. If you are the reader, do not compare yourself with others. You might say, wow, siya ganito na. Ako, eto pa lang ako. Bakit ganun? Stop comparing yourself with others. Your time will come. The best, wait, the best for you is just waiting for you to make it happen. Don't compare yourself with what others have done. And in LinkedIn, algorithm is working all the time. So the more you post, the more you like, the more you share, the more you become active, the more you update your LinkedIn profile. Kahit na ito, take a screenshot later, or you may have taken a picture already. Post this in LinkedIn and say, I attended PMAP's Academic Industry Career Talk and tag as many friends as you like. Kasi may recording naman sa Facebook at sa YouTube and ask them to watch it as well. And remember, use the different platforms first. So a little advertisement, please advertisement na ako. I have a YouTube channel and I started this and it's all positive. So please have all the positivity there. And in case you need to get in touch with me, these are my social media handles. I have a web page, my email address, my LinkedIn, my Facebook page, and my YouTube channel. So that's it this day.
Thank you so much, Penny. Wow, grabe. Siksik-siksik ang mga tips natin sa LinkedIn. Well, now we'll move on to our Q&A, but because of time constraints, we'll just have one question now for this one. All right. So, someone messaged me and asked, is it okay to message the LinkedIn profile of a recruiter and ask for a job?
Yes, you can message someone in LinkedIn. Remember, you can message anyone in LinkedIn. Now, whether they will answer or not, it's up to them. But yeah, don't be shy. Dapat nga walang yan. Don't be shy to ask. And because that shows initiative. Okay, yeah.
So, for your questions, for your other questions, you will just type it in the chat box. So later, when we still have time, we can ask our speakers to answer it and maybe to reach the Facebook so we can answer some of the questions. So thank you so much, Ken. Those pointers are really on point. No? So very helpful for our first time job seekers and our fresh grads or graduate students. So for our participants, don't leave just yet. Also, we have a game prepared for you at the end of the topic. So we're giving away grab vouchers and a book courtesy of course, our Miss Ben program. Okay. So thank you again, Miss Ben. So now moving on to our last topic, enhancing your confidence through neuroscience and psychology. I'd like to introduce you to our speaker. He is an independent organizational development and learning consultant in Canada, and he's also a registered psychologist in the Philippines, certified specialist in industrial organizational psychology by EAP, an internationally certified senior professional in human resource by HRCI of US. And he's also a former chartered professional in human resources in Canada by CPHR. And he's currently the chair of our PMAP Academic Industry Committee for 2022. Further, he also finished the following degrees. He's a graduate of Diploma in Educational Neuroscience of the University of Calgary in Alberta, Canada, as well as also a master's. He finished his master's degree in Education Adult Learning and Global Change at the University of British Columbia, also in Vancouver, Canada, and a Master of Science in Industrial Organizational Psychology graduate from the De La Salle University, Manila. And he also finished his bachelor's degree in psychology from the Angeles University Foundation, mga ka-students tayo dyan, in Angeles City, Pampanga. Alright, so without further ado, let us all give a warm clapping Zoom reaction welcome to Mr. Mick King.
Okay, maraming salamat, Miss Ray. And wow, that was a meaty presentation from Miss Penny, no? Sa mga idol natin dito sa HR. Um, okay, is my voice loud enough?
Yes,
Is loud ba? Okay
loud and
naman?
clear.
Okay. Oh, let's start. There. Very quick activity. Which is bigger, left or right? Type L or left, type R or right. Oh,
I make,
I,
yeah, I think there's a problem with the slides.
hindi siya nagano.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Can you see the change? Hindi pa rin.
uh,
Oh, okay. I think we have to shift muna sa ano. Let me shift let's just go for the regular and basic. Okay.
maybe our
Nag-change na ba, Miss Lay?
yes, but we can also see
Okay. Sige, ngayon natin ha.
the presentation.
Okay. Sige. We'll do this one. There you have it.
Yes,
It changed that. Okay.
yes.
So, yeah, pakitype po left, L for left table, right for R for right table. Yan natin yung ano. Okay. Sige po. Yeah. That's coming. Okay. By the way, I'm Migs. Uh, I was introduced naman. Numeratio na ako, no? Para makadami tayo. Okay. Right. Maraming right, maraming left table. Okay. And the answer is, they're the same. So sabi nga ni, ano, ni Jerry, and this is what you call shepherd illusion. They're the same. And I challenge you, right now, use any a ruler, a piece of paper, try to measure them. They are the same. And that is the work of our brain. Ganyan ka stubborn ang brain. Actually, I know it. I've done it a lot of times. Pero when I look at it, it's the same. It's always the same. Why? Because the brain processes things that way. Wala tayong magagawa doon. And I'll talk about the brain. And, napaka-importante ng brain. Nakikita niyo ako, naririnig niyo ako, nagagalaw niyo yung mata niyo, nagsiselos kayo, kumakain kayo, nagugutom kayo. You could move a finger because of your brain. All of those is controlled by, all of those are controlled by the brain. Talagang, ka-powerful ang brain niyo. And let's talk about confidence using psychology and neuroscience. Okay, why do you need it? Well, you need it for everything. We call confidence as a gatekeeper. Gatekeeper kasi even in studying things, kapag wala kang confidence, actually, walang confidence or the opposite of confidence, like anxiety or fear or if you're adamant, kapag ganun ang nararamdaman nyo, your brain would react. What would your brain do? I-limit yung perspective nyo. That's why if you're solving mathematics, simple as mathematics, but in everything, kapag wala kang confidence, your brain would limit its analysis. That's why ang hirap maghanap ng solution. And then sabihin mo, okay, I'll just wait for the solution. Maybe next time. Susuko ka na. So confidence affects learning because basically confidence broadens our perspective. In simple terms, it helps you look for solutions. It helps you search and maintain that urge to look for solutions. That's just learning. When you start joining the corporate ladder, the more. Because even sometimes if you started working at the corporate world, or in any situation, working situation, if you don't have confidence, again, it affects your performance. It would limit the words you say. It would limit your ideas. Or if you don't have confidence, actually it even stop you to perform well. Because in everything, when we recall simple things, words, procedures, we use confidence. Kasi yung kabaligtaran nito, if you're afraid, again, opposite of confidence, it won't broaden, it narrows your perspective. And it stops you or limits how you explore. No? Kapag gumana yung brain. So, let's talk about confidence. Ano ba to? Confidence has three things. When your belief and feeling that you can perform a task successfully and perform it as successfully and makes you do things. So there are three components. So yeah, when you're believing feeling that you can perform a task successfully and makes you do things. Sorry about that error. No? There are three components here. You should believe, you should believe that you can do it, and you feel that you can do it. Kasi kung believing lang, I believe I can do it. That's just self-esteem. Feeling that you could do it, that's just optimism. The third component should be doing it. You need to perform it. That's what you call confidence. Hindi pa pwedeng you believe and you feel it. No, you have to have the third component, which you would actually do it. Meaning, when you do something, when you're about to do something, you think that you could do it. You could successfully do it. And there's a certain rewarding feeling that you could do it. And then you would actually do it. That is confidence. Hindi pa pwedeng thinking and feeling lang. Okay. And if you keep on doing this, again, this is basic in neuroscience, if you keep on doing a particular thing, if you keep on building your confidence, it becomes a mindset. Actually, kapag natin ng brain nyo, there will be cognitive maps na tinatawag namin. Well, in simple terms, yun yung parang may mga highways sa brain nyo. Now, automatic, if you're faced with a particular situation and you need confidence, dahil lagi mong always trying to be confident, naging super highway yun. Meaning, it's easy for you to feel and think that you're confident. Yun yung effect. Um, how does it happen in the brain? First, let me just warn you, there are different parts involved sa confidence. It's not localized. Actually, everything is not localized. No? There's no such a thing as yung frontal lobe lang or yung occipital lobe lang, yung sa side lang, there's no such thing. when the brain works, it works collaboratively, meaning they help each other. Confidence comes out when the brain knows how good you are and you behave in that way. So first, kailangan tatanungin niyo muna before you proceed. Sir, ano bang difference ng brain at saka mind? In simple terms, this is the best analogy. The brain is the hardware and the mind is the software. Meaning, yung brain nyo yung nahawakan kumbaga na computer. Nag-ooperate ang computer kasi may mga operating systems. May mga word dyan, etc., etc. That's the mind. No? So yung brain, physically you could touch it. No? But the one that operates inside the brain is what you call the mind. Or even the output of the brain is what you call the mind. Now, when the brain, talking about the brain, not when the brain detects, because your mind thinks that I am confident. No, I have to be confident. When you do that, the brain reacts. Paano siya mag-react? It will actually produce dopamine, feel good chemical. It will make you feel good. Hindi naman sobrang good. Pero it would start to produce those chemicals for the neurotransmitters. And mararamdaman mo, parang masarap. No? Hindi pero it's not painful, definitely, pero it gives you certain rewarding feeling na parang ang hirap na explain. Pero siguro, the nearest is kapag dumaan ng crush mo, bawasan ng konti yan, parang gano'n. Or kapag nag-basketball ka, nag-gym ka, pinawisan ka, yun, biglang nagpahinga ka, that's good, gano'n. No? So, may konting gano'n. Although there's another chemical involved in that process. I just illustrate to you. So, again, when the brains detect na, okay, I believe I could do it, magre-react ang brain by producing those chemicals. And vice versa yun, ulit-ulit yun. And you feel good the more you think you can do it. And the more you think you can do it, the more you produce yung chemicals, and the more you actually do it. Yun yung process ng confidence. Pero para mas klaro sa inyo, you don't need to memorize this. Yung dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, memorize that. If you wish to, sige, bahala kayo. Pero ang trabaho ng part na yun, nandito yun, no? Nandito siya sa pinaka, sa parang 3 inches above your eyebrows or 4 inches. Ang trabaho niya, to get information. Meaning, kapag sinabihan ka ng professor niya, tomorrow, sample names, you would present. So the brain, that part, would gather information. Yung reaction ng klase mo, yung words na sinabi ng teacher mo, galit ba siya, excited ba siya, lahat, everything you've been discussing nyo, that part of the brain would gather that. And then ipapasa niya sa kulay green, the anterior prefrontal cortex. Ang trabaho nito is to tell you, yung pag na-realize natin, okay, that's good, that's okay. Kaya yung magta-thumbs up. Napaka-detalye, no? Actually, mas detalye pa dyan, pero pinapasimple ko lang. So the second part, which is the green part, anterior prefrontal cortex would say, that's good, it's good. Thumbs up yan. Pero the last portion, ang magsasabing, you should do it. Actually, ang anterior part, yung kulay green, no? Sinasabi niya na gawin mo na eh. But nakukonvince ka talagang gagawin mo na mag-present ka tomorrow, ang mag-decide dyan, yung ventromedial prefrontal cortex. Yung nasa ilalim. Actually, parang kung ngalang-alam mo, no? Pag tinusok mo yun, pero wag naman. Yun yung punta nun. Siya ang magsasabing, that's valuable. Meaning, siya yung part ng brain na magsasabing, this is desirable. This is good. You have to talk. You have to present. Siya yung final. No? Siya yung pinaka, in a way, mid-gate. No? Siya yung talagang magsasabing, sige, ang pag-present tomorrow sa harapan ng klase is something good. Then, mag-start na maglabas ng good chemicals in your brain. No? And then, the more you think that you could do it, and you start preparing, etc., etc. That's how confidence, so far, based on research, happens. Okay, yung tatlong to, lalo nga sa harapan ng, that's what you call the thinking brain. Again, I'm just using this term para mapasimple. Because I need to explain to you yung counterpart ng thinking brain. Yung naman kalaban. Pero pag sa katrabaho niya, yung tinatawag natin emotional brain. That's a limbic system. Kapag nag-psych kayo, alam niyo to. But think of it as an emotional brain. Now, this is very important. Pwede nyo kalimutan lahat na i-explain ko today, pero huwag nyo kakalimutan. The emotional brain cannot be activated at the same time as a thinking brain. Hindi sila pwede magsabay. Kapag galit ka, ninenervous ka, natatakot ka, that's the emotional brain working. The problem with the emotional brain, we cannot learn properly when the emotional brain is on. We can only learn properly, analyze, kapag ang naka-activate is the thinking brain. Ulitin ko, hindi pwedeng magsabay exactly activated at the same level ang thinking brain and emotional brain. Because una, sabi ko nga, kapag thinking brain, that's the part. That's the time you can analyze, solve mathematics, find your way, analyze solutions, think analytically. And when you're learning, that's the thinking brain working. Pag nag-shift ka into emotional brain, dahil bigla ka natakot, ang problema ng emotional brain, walang learning sa kanya. Meron konti, pero mostly alam nito to save yourself. Either by running or by fighting. What you call the fight or flight. Kaya nga, there's no learning pag emotional kayo, pag takot kayo, pag nininabis kayo. Kasi hindi yung mga magulang, no? Pag pinapagalitan yung mga anak, pag sinasermon, they're just turning on the emotional brain. That's why narinig yung parents natin, pasok dito, labas dito. It's because it's the emotional brain that's actually activated, not the thinking brain. So, always remember that. The same thing na kapag nilalabas ka sa interview, hirap paglabas ng mga tamang sagot. Because it's the emotional brain that is activated. And the emotional brain is very notorious for just saving yourself by running away or fighting. That's why, kapag emotional ang tao, nakikipag-debate siya or nag-walk out siya kumari. So, it's very important. I want to make sure I can see my time. Okay, it's not fixed. Good news. We're not born we're not born confident. Remember that. That means we can always develop it. It could wax or wane. Meaning, there'll be time, there'll be a year, there'll be a moment, there'll be a day, a week that you're so confident. But there'll be time. There'll be a day, there'll be a month that you're not confident. Sorry about the positioning kasi akala ko pwede kong gamitin yung advanced sa Zoom. You can strengthen it. Again, practice, practice, practice. Well, confidence is affected by emotions. The more natakot ka, the more nagalit ka, mas hirap ang confidence. Because, sabi nga natin kanina, confidence would emanate majority, no? Primarily, dun sa thinking brain. Pero kapag you're emotional, it's the emotional brain that is actually activated. As memories, if you keep on thinking of those bad past memories, experiences, mahirap lumabas ang confidence. I think that's explanatory, no? Because when you think of the bad experiences, again, you become emotional and your brain is afraid. And sabi ko kanina, when the brain is afraid, that's the opposite of confidence. Stress. Again, when you're stressed, it's hard to be confident. Why? Explain ko kanina, when you're stressed, you're actually on your fight or flight. Meaning, lalaban ka or tatakbo ka. Save yourself by fighting or flying away. Meaning, with the situation. So there's no confidence in there because the brain would only focus on saving yourself by asking you to remove yourself from the situation or fight the source of stress. So confidence is really hard to come out. No? Still, lack of sleep will definitely affect your confidence because it's hard to think. Definitely, why? Kasi pag natutulog tayo, the first work of sleep is to consolidate memories. Inaayos niya sa mga sa mga shelves ang memories. Also, to gain more power. So kapag wala kang uh, sleep, mas hirap trabaho mo ang frontal lobe. Environment, if you're with confident people, with supportive people, the more na confident ka. Of course, culture, no? And yung values. If you value speaking out, trying your best, again, mas confident ka. If you're in a culture, in a family culture, or ano man, kamag-anak, that, wow, they hate people who would stand up and try things, it affects your confidence. And may impairment, either physical or psychological. Mostly psychological, it could affect. Yung physical, it's easily overcome by. No? That doesn't mean kaya may physical impairment ka, you won't be confident. Actually, no. Okay, mindfulness. Why? Basically, you have to be self-aware. You have to be aware of what you feel, of your think. Because if you are not aware, even if you're confident, the result will be overconfidence. Mindfulness, which is an advanced level of awareness, is needed when you know you're not confident. Because it's time you do self-talk. Sabi mo, kaya mo yan. Inhale, exhale, kaya mo yan. That's how you do self-talk. You can't do self-talk if you're not mindful. Or kung confident ka naman, delikado din. That's overconfidence. And the problem with overconfidence, you convince yourself that nothing is wrong. And if something would actually manifest that you need to correct, but because you're overconfident, because you're not mindful, then that's disaster making. Kasi kung mindful ka and you could see something wrong, oops, you correct it. That's why yung butterfly in the stomach when you speak, uh, any amount of feeling of being nervous is helpful because it tells your body and your system and your brain and your mind that okay, I have to prepare. I have to do something. Something would go wrong. That's that's why mindfulness is very important. Confidence begets more confidence. The more if you're confident now, the more you'll be confident in doing other things. The more confidence will build up. Sabi ko kanina, when you feel confidence, the brain, when you feel confident, rather, the brain will produce good chemicals, making you feel good. And when you feel good, you want to repeat that experience. So there's a higher probability you will do the same activity, like speaking in front of the public, or thinking about speaking in front of people. So it's a cycle. Confident ka, good effects in your body, good thinking, and then good thinking would produce good chemicals, feel good, ulit-ulit lang yan. Confidence is contagious. If you see people, if you're in a group of people, barkada, or if you're jowa mo, or tabarkads mo, confident sila, it would affect you in a good way. No? Unless sobra kang takot sa isang bagay, then you would see yourself, parang figure and background ang nangyari. The more you feel na, ay, bakit sila pwede, at ako wala. The more you feel that. But in general, kapag halos okay ka naman, and the people are confident, or people around you are confident, then it would boost your confidence. Okay. How to enhance it? Now is always the best time. Huwag na kayong mag-isip pa. Try simple things. Walking in front of people, dressing up, wearing short or whatever. Just start now. When you ask, how do I, sabi mo, parang hindi ako confident. Parang laging, how do I develop it now? Maybe try asking a question later. Yun ang simple things. Do it slowly. Hindi mo pwedeng i-rush. That's the problem with the brain. And even in psychology, when they say that. If you achieve something so quickly in terms of skills, then you could lose that very quickly. Easy to develop, easy to learn, easy to unlearn. Ganun lang kasimple. Again, we go back sa sinabi ko kanina, cognitive map. Cognitive map. Meaning, if you keep on doing it, you're actually leaving traces. You're physically changing your brain through synapses, connections in the brain, no? Axon connections, yun, physical changes na nangyayari if you keep on doing it. But kung simple mo lang siyang ginawa, na-achieve mo siya, there's a weak assurance na magre-repeat siya. So you have to keep on doing it, but do it slowly. Huwag niyong i-rush ang sarili niyo. Kasi pag nag-rush ka, then you create fear. What you do, then you clamp down. Yun ang problema. So, kaya nga, do it slowly. Befriend yourself. Dahil ayaw nating you shift into fight or flight. So you have to do it slowly. Start with one thing. Kahit simple lang. Uh, you can't wear shorts in front of people, then try to wear a little longer short. Not so short. So asking very usual things. Huwag niyong, do not, do not do something so Herculean. Don't do that. Don't do something so big and you rush into it. You don't do that. You will just shut your system. And when you shut your system, then you remember that negative experience because most likely you would fail if it's so big, if it's so Herculean. Uh, so nice simple things. So you create simple, quick victories para maglabas ng good feeling ng brain mo. And then you'll be more motivated to do it again or to do it in a different setting. Not as if you fake it till you make it. There's a psychology in there. There's a neuroscience in there. When you act as if, you convince yourself. Like, come on, tomorrow you have to speak before the class. Act as if, feel it, because feeling it and saying it to yourself would actually help your brain to really feel it. Basically, oh, liniloko mo ang brain mo. But that's not the way to go. You really have to convince your brain. So the brain will produce good chemicals, and the brain will talk to other parts of your brain, and the brain, mas sinasabi mo, no, kaya ko to. When you do that, like you say, kaya ko to, matiling ako, I'm good. Kahit kung pumalpak lang ako, it's okay. It's part of it. When you do that, and when you say that, the power works, again, this is the psychology and neuroscience of it, you're telling your frontal lobe, yung part dito, na slow down ang emotional brain. Meaning, mananalo ang thinking brain. So that what the thinking brain would do is to tell your emotional brain, dahil sinasabi mong, kaya mo, magaling ka, you're good, kahit anong mangyari, you would accept it, then the emotional brain would silence itself from the instruction of the thinking brain. So, yun ang mangyayari. Practice failure, hindi ko sinasabing you create kapalpakan. No. Experience things. When failure is there, do not look at it as failure. Look at it, how do I solve it? How do I navigate this? Because whether you like it or not, there'll be failure. There will be a lot of failures along the way. It's not a perfect life. It's not a walk in the garden. It's not a bed of roses. Whether you like it or not. So kahit ano pa yan. For example, nung iniwan ka ng jowa mo, di ba nung una, ang sakit? After nun, nung naulit, di ba parang mas kaya mo na? Nung una ka sa klase, first time mong nag-enroll. First, you're a freshie, you're a freshman, di ba? Uy, parang greenhorn. Ang hirap, paano ba sa college, paano ba sa masters? In anything. When it's new, parang ang hirap niya. And then you will just realize after how many months or even a year, okay na. Yung dati problema mo, okay na siya. It could be an emotional thing or what. That's the gift of failure. If you deal with it properly and you learn, you're actually rehearsing your brain how to deal with it in the future. It's the simple psychology of it. And if you want to discuss the neuroscience of it, it's actually telling your brain, leaving memories there in your brain. Because you dealt with failure, naghanap ka ng solution, kung if you got lost or whatever, then those will be in your, they'll be stored in your brain because you dealt with it properly and hindi ka, kasi kapag sobrang takot mo, ang gagawin ng brain, hindi lang yan, dapat tatandaan niya kapag sobrang nakakatakot. So, pag tinandaan niya yun na sobrang nakakatakot, when you recall it, it would also recall yung emotion. Meaning, when you recall yung kapalpakan, the brain would also activate the same emotion, even if it happened after 2 years or more. Kaya nga namin pag sobrang yun, we call it phobia or trauma. Ayaw natin yun. When you're facing fear, the neuroscience of it, deal with it properly. Well, masakit siya, ako masakit. That's fine. Kung iyak ka, hindi iyak. Ano problema? Pero navigate through it. So the brain would remember it. And when you face it again, the brain would look for the same memories to help you navigate it without activating the emotional brain, without activating the emotions. Kasi pag inactivate yung emotions, it will be the same behavior. Kung nagwala ka before, magwawala ka rin ngayon. Kung sumuko noon, susuko rin ka ngayon. At masya-shut out. Use the power of visualization. Again, when you visualize, walang pagkakaiba ang pag-visualize and doing the exact thing. Pag tinignan natin sa brain yun, it's the same thing. So when you visualize that you can do it and you feel good, it's the same thing as doing the exact thing. That's the power of visualization. And that's proven. All the things I'm discussing with you, these are proven by science, specifically neuroscience and psychology. Now, eto, be very cautious of indecision. Ito yung mga situation when you analyze things. Should I do it? Should I present tomorrow in front of the class of Miss Penny? Ang galing ni Miss Penny. She's one of the greatest, kumbaga, the level of Miss Penny is uh, 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 idol level. And then you'll be presenting in front of Miss Penny. Parang mas nakakatakot yun. Diba? But if you were asked to speak in front of a class, meaning Miss Penny, and then you keep on analyzing, the problem is what we call analysis paralysis. You'll be caught in that moment of thinking of different things. The problem with that, it's not fruitful. It's not helpful. That's why you have this deciding and doing. There are things that you just have to jump and do it. You don't need to wrap your brain. As in, just do it. Of course, don't do that. Delicado. No? You don't do that in dangerous things. Like, I'll just jump and do a bungee jumping. No, you don't do that. But for things that would not kill you, like speaking in front of the public, you could prepare, of course. You could analyze, of course, that's normal. But do not overanalyze. That's what you call deciding. In our terms, and even in neuroscience, we call that the implemental mindset. Meaning, it's an endless decision making and analysis paralysis. It's not helpful. You're just creating an illusion that you need to analyze something, but actually there's nothing to analyze. Your brain clearly understands what you need to do. That's why it should be doing. Yung tinatawag namin, sorry, nagkapalit ng dalawa. The doing is what you call the implemental, or the word implement. That's implemental mindset. Sorry about that. Deciding is what you call the deliberative mindset. You deliberate. Sorry about that. So, but forget about those highfalutin terms. Just think about, just do it. If it is safe, if it's about your ego or the perception of people, oh my God, just do it. Do not be caught in analysis paralysis. Anong neuroscience ito versus psychology of it? The psychology of it is when people keep on deciding, they'll be caught in that rut. No? In that rut of, o yung kumbaga sa Tagalog, yung parang bako na maraming putik, habang parang kumuloy, kumbaga, no? Habang nag-resist ka doon at hanap ka ng hanap, the more na lumulubog ka. That's the deciding, too much deciding. But when you do it, you just jump. And that's it. You do it. No? The neuroscience of this is this. When you keep on analyzing things, ang gagawin ng brain mo, dahil you analyze, the brain would enable you, specifically, although the whole brain, but dominantly, yung frontal lobe, yung nasa harapan, part of the brain, to look at even the tiniest things, yung positive and negative. Problema, pag nakikita mo yung negative, then you doubt yourself. That's the problem of the deliberative mindset. Yung, yung deciding mindset. Yung sobrang kaka-analyze. The brain would open up about everything, about the situation. But the ending, usually, you'll be discouraged. But the doing mindset or the implemental mindset, the doing mindset, would actually help you narrow things. And usually, gagawin ng brain, it will just help you to focus on the target, on the goal. That's the neuroscience. Pag gumanda yung honest, sabi niya, oh no, this is it. It's the only way. It's good. It's rewarding. Then you just do it. So that's why meron tayong analysis paralysis. And usually, mas nila-describe. Okay, let me implement yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. First, dress up for power. How do I connect and discuss that? Mindset. When you dress up for power, you're, alam natin, yung input sa mata nyo. I don't need to explain the neuroscience kasi ang haba ng no? Pag nakita ng mata mo, yung figure mo sa salamin, and you look good, then maglalabas siya ng chemicals, making you more, boosting your confidence. Because dressing up, what you see sa mirror would definitely enhance by encouraging you. I-encourage sa brain mo ang mind mo. Ganun ang mangyayari. And then, usually ang lalabas, good things, good thoughts ang mangyayari. Practice power pose, the same thing, no? Mindset advantage. When you pose, even now, try to pose, do power pose, just now. Straighten your body as if you are Superman. You're the most important person in the world. You will feel good. Try to slouch. Slouch now. And slouch. Parang nakadungo or what. It would send negative messages to brain mo. Why? Very simple. Kasi natatandaan ng brain mo that when you're confident, when you're able to achieve things, it feels good. So when you do the same, when you mimic, when you do the same pose, then the brain will be encouraged to produce good thoughts, good feelings. Okay, study days in advance, but not a day before on the day itself. That's very important. That's what you call cramming. Ito yung problema sa cramming. That's why it's so, sabihin natin, uh, uh, likable. It's really likable. Pero a lot of people would cram, even myself. Pero ano yung problema ng cramming? It will actually help you. Diba? Lahat kayo, student dito, di ba? When you cram, you're able to pass the exam, even to ace it. But wait for a few days. You forget everything when you cram. That is because your brain is just under stress. And the brain is telling you that it is a fight or flight situation. So it would hold on to those information in your brain. Because for him, this is dangerous. I need to survive this. Then you'll be able to survive. You'll pass the exam. Or even ace it. But after a few days, you don't remember anything. Or you remember very little. That's the effect of cramming. The same thing with interviews. Because this is the application part. Prepare days, weeks in advance. But the day before that, please rest. Because you need your brain to consolidate everything that you've prepared, that you've learned. So they'll be in right places. Kasi kung hindi, thinking brain, emotional brain na ng situation. This is another thinking brain and emotional brain versus emotional brain situation. So relax. If you want to prepare everything, rehearse weeks, days before, but not a day before or the day itself. it won't help you. Mas the more you increase the chance that you'll be nervous during the very uh, interview. Sabi nga na kanina ng unang speaker, magkwento ko eh. Bakit yun? I'll just give you the neuroscience and psychology of that. First, it was found out when people make kwento, storytelling, mas nakikinig yung mga tao. Why? Because for how many years, even the time when we are in caves, that's one of the things that we use as a group, storytelling. That's why it's ingrained in our brain. Do not brood over past unsuccessful interviews. Forget about that. Huwag yung babalik-balikan mo yung kapalpakan before. It's not helping you. You're just activating the emotional brain and you're rehearsing the emotional brain. You're just convincing your brain that, oops, sabi, sabi mo, oops, you might fail. It's not helping. Your brain should be convinced that you will succeed. So the brain would affect your mouth, affect your brain, affect your body for success. It will prepare everything. Yun yung neuroscience. Basically, you're setting up your brain for success. So please, do not brood over. Do not ruminate. Huwag yung balik-balikan yung kapalparan. It's not helpful. Okay, well, if you want to go back to your failures, go back because you want to look for solutions, but not to brood over it. It's not helping. Do not blame or feel bad if you fail an interview. Interview is an experience. If you fail it, do not match it with a bad emotion. Explain ko kanina yun. Because if you match an interview, and nagre-react ka na, grabe, nakakainis, ang palpak mo. If you do that, you're matching an experience with an emotional memory. Sabi natin kanina, pag nag-partner yan, you store them in your brain, and when you're about to have an interview, wala, interview, ano yung brain yun? So, mabilis, you divide the second into 100,000, get one, and then, your brain would remind you of that before. That's why, please, just go over that experience. Feel bad for a day, minutes, hours, pero look at what you gain. Para ma-partner yung memory na yun, even though it's a failure for you, with a good memory. So when you're about to have an interview, the brain would produce good memories. Calm your emotional brain. By the way, quick way to calm your brain or your emotional brain, inhale, exhale. Very easy. Think of a square, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Para siyang square, relating what they call or anything. Because when you do both um, breathing exercises, you activate your thinking brain and you silence your emotional brain. Practice, practice, practice. Nothing will beat that. If you keep on practicing, the more that your brain would learn that. As in physically, gagawa siya ng parang highway in your brain. I cannot stress this enough. You know about maybe neuroplasticity, so it's very important. Um, and that's it. Maraming salamat po. I'm so sorry if I kind of rush uh, the, the presentation because I don't want to get too much of your time. No, I just want to respect your time. Maraming salamat po. I hope I was able to share something with you. Take
Thank
it
you
away,
so
Lay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Higgs, okay, for that wonderful presentation. Indeed, itong mga to, tips na with confidence that really help our soon to uh, be job seekers and first-time job seekers. Um, Unfortunately, we can only accommodate one question. So I have here, what will be the easiest and the best thing to do if you find yourself nervous and afraid of next situations? So, ano yung mga pwedeng tips na ibigay sa ating mga first-time job seekers?
Yeah. You know what? You will definitely find yourself in a situation when abruptly you just feel nervous. Again, that's very normal. That's very normal. You're not Superman. You're not perfect. It happens. But the quickest siguro you have to remember is this. First is awareness. No? You have to recognize it. Actually, to explain it, anything that you want to change, anything that you want to control, anything that you want to manage, you start first with recognizing it. First, you need to recognize that you feel that you eat a lot or you're nervous in a situation. When you recognize that, then the next part you'll be able to understand it. When you understand it, you'll be able to clearly label it. Even in the Bible, naming something is having power over that thing. Huh? So first you recognize it, then you'll be able to understand it. When you understand it, you'll be able to clearly label what's that. Is it nervousness or excitement? Is it anger or jealousy? Uh, or kung pagkain man yan or matakaw ka, um, then you'll be able to label it. So after labeling it or naming it, then you'll be able to express it properly if it's an emotion. And in expressing it properly, the last step is to be able to rule over it, no? Meaning manage it. Pero sobrang haba nun, the key is awareness. Because you cannot change something, you cannot change or manage something that you're not aware of. So that's very important. Awareness, 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 awareness. And I think that's one thing you could share with you. So, para mas madali. Thank you.
Thank you so much again for our job seekers, future job seekers, awareness now. Right? So I know that you have been attentive, so right at the start of our seminar. So let's have another activity. As mentioned earlier, we'll be giving away prizes for our winners later. So I'm sure you're very all familiar with this platform. So we'll be playing Kahoot. Alright, so kindly bring out all your phones and just scan the QR code that will be attached in your screen, or you may enter the QR, the game pin. It's 440 You may, in your browser, mobile browser, type in kahoot.it and enter the game pin 440430. Alright, yeah, while waiting, I'll be sharing with you few prizes. So we'll be giving away Grab food vouchers worth 100 for the third and second place winners. And then later, also for our first place winners, we'll also be giving 100 Grab food voucher plus a book courtesy of Miss Penny of Dato. Alright? Yeah, so while waiting, right now we have how many? 263 strong dito sa ating webinar, and plus also meron pa tayo attendees in our Facebook page as well as LinkedIn. We're also live in YouTube. Alright, so while waiting, okay, so 48, 49. So sige, let's see kung makakaabot tayo ng 100. Again, we'd like to remind everyone now, for those winners later that will be announced, kindly direct your message or give your details to Mr. Jansen of PMAP. Okay, so you may message him siguro dito in the chat box, either PMAP Center or Mr. PMAP Jansen, for us to be able to give you instructions on how to save your prize. First, share with us the contact details and of course the address of the lucky winner later. Book care of is Penny of Canada. Alright, so we're 85 na in the Kahoot. So sige, so first 100 lang tayo. Kindly um, register. And again, the game pin is 440430. Or you just scan the QR codes that are flash in your screen. Alright? Okay, so last four. Alright, so last four na lang. Okay, umabot na. Okay? Yes. So again, for the winners, kindly message or direct message Mr. Jackson or the PMAP Center for you to claim your prize and provide us your contact. I think that's it. So let's start. Thank you, Ms. Penny. Yeah. So true or false? It is wrong to follow up the recruiter after the galing ang ating mga participants. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Answers are up. Okay. So pause. Okay. Actually, okay lang na mag-follow up their as mentioned by Liza. Really. Okay. So we have 76 who got the correct answer. Oh, very good. Ang galing. For the first place, we have Lisa Erika, followed by Burden and am I right? Leila. Okay. Yeah, so let's move on to the next question. By the way, this is total of 5 questions. What is the recommended social media platform for you to build up your professional network? So we have Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Instagram. So alin ba dyan? So last 8 seconds. Okay. 3, 2, and 1. Answer is up. Okay, so correct. So meron tayo the recommended social media platform to use to gain professional network is LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Next po, ayan, nangunguna pa rin si Riza Erika. Isang internet niya. Then followed by Adi and Leila. Okay, next one. For our third question, black is the emotional brain. So explores the lateral prefrontal cortex, ventromedial prefrontal cortex, anterior prefrontal cortex, or the limbic system. So which is the emotional brain? So last 3 seconds. Okay. So the correct answer is limbic system. Kanina, it was shown by Mr. Mix. No? So yes, the limbic brains are. So let's see kung nabago ba. Naku, talaga very good si Liza Erica. And then followed by CST, RV Sanido, and Pepsi. So, ayun. Grabe. So next. So true or false? Confidence is affected by sleep deprivation. Is it true or false? Naapektuhan nga ba ang confidence? Okay, that's 7 seconds. 2 and 1. Answers are all in. So yes, it's true. Affected talaga ang confidence by sleep deprivation. And we have 101 participants who got the correct answer. And let's see sino po ang nasa rank 8. Still, naku, nangunguna pa rin si Lisa, followed by RV and then Maurice. Okay, for our last question, I think yes. What is the name of our online learning series? Is it Career Launch, Managing Online Presence, Decoding Job Interview, or Enhancing Your Confidence through Neuroscience and Science? Sana naman correct tayo dito. And 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So we have 85 participants who got the right answers. Okay. This is it. The moment of truth. Sino kaya ang nasa first, second, at third place? So for our third place, we have Kaya. Saan kayang school si Kaya tayo? So the next one is Mr. Sadido, or is it Miss? And then the first one is Lisa Erica. So congratulations to all our winners. As mentioned, kindly get in touch with PMAP Chance, our PMAP Center, for your contact details that we'll be able to share with you and give you instructions on how to take your prize. Okay? So before we end, we'd like to ask our participants that as part of our evaluation for us to improve also. And if you have suggestions and if we can ask for your evaluation. So can we flash our screen for that? Ayan. Okay. Do we have the evaluation? Already. Ayan. So for our participants, so for us, for you to complete the program evaluation, you can also get a e-certificate for only 150 also para meron tayong makuha certificate. So please scan the QR codes and help us in improving if you have questions or suggestions or siguro the next webinar series for our job seekers. So yeah, for request and payment instructions, we also email Mr. Jansen dot confito at email.org.ph. So help us. So baka meron pa kayong suggestions on for PMAP so that we can also help you improve or at least makakorek tips on how to gain some confidence in, to bridge the gap between the academic and the industry. Okay, so while nag-evaluate tayo, yeah, grabe. It has been a jam-packed morning full of learning and course fun, and we hope that we'll be able to see you again in our next learning series. So with that, again, I am David of San Miguel Global Power, and I wish to thank you for joining us. Sorry, by the way, before we do that, we have a closing remarks first from Mr. Biggs, our chair for academic.
We'll just do it very quickly. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you to speakers. Um, invite them in. Just to leave you a few words. No? Um, remember neuroplasticity, meaning our brains, they have the ability to grow. Sabi natin, our neurons will die. Yes, they die, but we have the ability to grow them. Meaning, it's an endless possibility. We could always learn something. It's very healthy. That's one thing you should not be stopping. It's something that you should not be postponing. Learn anything. I think anything. Keep learning because physically it has an effect in your brain. You're physically changing your brain. Um, I cannot stress that enough. So um, with that, thank you so much. I hope um, you were inspired, you were able to share something that's valuable to you. And not rush. No? Always value the humanity. Meaning, sometimes you will forget, sometimes you will fail, and that's fine. That's honoring the humanity in you. So just keep on going on, learn from that mistake, and then learn and then explore because there's a lot of exploring that will happen after your graduation. Again, honor the humanity, the human in you, honor the humanity of experience, meaning any failures, any mistakes, any imperfection, just accept them and try to better them if you can. If not, they're just there. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Okay, so thank you again, everyone, no, for your time and episode. So again, thank you so much for joining us for this event, and have a great week and lunch. Good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you, Lay.
Thank you, Stanley.
Thank you, dear
Thank you,
students.
Penny.
Thank you, everyone. Kahit wala tayong photo op, ang dami kasi natin. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,